Hey, I think we're live.
All right.
We got numbers.
Cleveland Moto Podcast. We have episode number 492. Light them up, boys.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, shit. It's in my face. Good thing I was wearing the glasses. The safety specs just saved me on that one.
This is the only time you'll ever hear in my mouth, in my mouth.
In my mouth. And it is literally on my nose. So this is quite a full house we have tonight. We are fully loaded and rolling, as the Canadian friends like to say.
On a Thursday, no less.
On a Thursday, yeah, because we're trying to figure that out. A lot of people are like, don't do the podcast on Friday. Don't do the podcast on Saturday. I'm at home on Thursday.
Yeah.
We're just going to try some different stuff. To my immediate left, we have...
Sean Noel.
And to his left...
Dan Kromke.
And behind the board...
Steve Sleepy.
And to his left...
Johnny Mac.
And to his left...
Speedy Pete.
Baby in the corner...
Chris Smith.
And behind the bar...
Tom Pennington.
That is a full complement, fully loaded Cleveland Moto podcast. Big thing for us. We're just coming off the heels of the AIM Expo, the American International Motorcycle Exposition.
Yes.
American and international. That's quite something, because I'm sure there were a lot of people there from all over the place. I think we met them all. Mm-hmm. There were Taiwan. There was Turkey. There was Pakistan. We met people from everywhere. And we saw bikes from everywhere. Some good, some bad, some unfucking explainable motorcycles that we saw. I understand you paid for the booth.
Oh,
that didn't mean you had to just grab shit on your way to the show to fill it. Really wacky shit. Okay, interesting facts and figures for the AIM Expo that you might be interested in. We had more than 400 exhibitors. We had 24 OEMs, and I don't discount that, and 9 separate distributors. Now, why that's important is I had been telling people for the past 4 years that this show has been in Vegas, that this show didn't need to be in Vegas because it was such a small show. And in the past, I've been upset that I traveled all the way to Vegas for a show I could have easily done in 4 hours. Not this year, my friends. Not at all. And they made the show shorter. So Wednesday was a preview day for media, etc. Then Thursday was a real day of the show. And then we were very surprised to find out that the show was officially over on Friday at 1 p.m.
Huh. Shockingly.
Yeah. Nobody was ready for the show to be over at 1 p.m.
We were planning on meeting and then doing stuff.
Exactly. At 1 p.m.
At 1 p.m., but no.
When we took our bags and shit and we put it in the coat check and the equipment check, and the guy was like, you're going to be picking this up at 1 o'clock, right? And we were like, oh, whatever, dude, just take my shit.
I was a bit surprised when I decided to show up a little late for the game. I'm like, I'm going to take it easy and then I'll wander over the show. Yeah. Oh, no, they're closing up.
They're closing up. They
Perfect.
And people were dragging shit out of the booths just as quickly as they could.
Well,
so
we all encouraged John, too. We're like, no, dude, go in the pool. Just enjoy yourself.
I don't regret it for one moment.
Oh, I wouldn't either, yeah.
I think you did the right thing. But that's one of those things. So just keep in mind, if a show runs like that, Wednesday's media day, Thursday's the show, Friday only until 1 p.m. Check your fucking schedules, because that means now that show I used to bitch about being too small is going to be kind of hard to see it all. Especially Sleepy, the guy to B-roll, who was going around. He shot 97 SD cards,
dude,
full of B-roll.
I have 3.2 terabytes of footage.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Indeed.
I used the word excruciating. I think that was a little bit strong at the time.
No, it is.
For me,
You're not a camera guy.
I was a little tired from, but I thought I was going to be, I'm going to stick with Sleepy and I'm going to help him schlep his shit and everything. And then all right, this is.
Yeah, you're like, how many shots of a fucking fork do you need?
Okay, every single bike at this fucking thing he's going to fucking do. Okay.
You got to have options, man.
Well, to be honest, at least 1 terabyte is just Johnny Mac sleeping in his homage to Andy Warhol.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
The
guilty as charged.
70 media members registered. I think there were 8 at this table. Between us and the Misfits, I think there were a dozen. We did have very strong concentration of cameras, talent, etc. at this event. Fucking crazy. New product presentations, more than 25 new product presentations. I'm going to be talking about a couple of things that I saw that were new and that I was very interested in at this show, because that's why you go. Mm-hmm. You do go. And they claim 300,000 square feet of show. I don't think we necessarily had 300,000 square feet, but it was big. It was bigger than 2 football fields. I'll give you that. It was very, very big, quite something. Now the show's moving. So just when you got used to it being in Vegas, it's not. Next year, January 7th through January 9th, make your plans now, in Anaheim, California. That's Orange County, the Tragic Kingdom. That's where it's going to be happening. In fact, the convention center in Anaheim is located a short walk around from Trader Sam's Tiki Room. Tiki,
which is the entire reason Phil's going to go.
Which is the reason.
Yeah, motorcycles.
No, not just Phil. I think he converted us all to Tiki hounds. I mean, I already have enough Tiki guys on my arms to claim I could go anywhere, but that was the best, like, not doing Vegas stuff, but doing Tiki bar stuff. That made the trip.
Absolutely.
It was fun.
Perfect.
We got some solid gold hookups.
Yeah.
It's more tiki bar than I've had in the last year.
There's some really good bars that are in Vegas. We know that, but there's some really good Tiki bars in particular that are in Vegas, and several of them are brand new and I've not been to them before. So I had a list of things we had to do. And as luck would happen, we ran into Nikki and some of the people from the bars that I had on my list at our first stop at the Red Dwarf. Dan's like, we should go, because you were there a day early.
Yeah. That was a recommend. It was already on my list, but the bartender at the Hampton Inn recommended that place.
Wow. Holy shit. Talk about a small world. There's got to be 1,000 bars in Las Vegas, right? At least. And the bar at our hotel bar told you to go to Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was $1 million recommendation.
Oh, I thought you knew that place.
Well, I did. It was on my list.
But he
forward partied it.
One of 2 places we had to double tap.
Yes, we did double tap that.
Yeah,
place.
but I've never experienced ever walking into a bar and then out of nowhere 2 people know you, and then like all of a sudden like it's like they're like, oh shit, you're that, and then we were like the kings of the place.
We all the red carpet got rolled out. For
wow!
sure.
They
were like, "Is that Phil?"
They put you all up on the VIP then, huh?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
yeah. The Tiki community, people do know each other, and people are very generous to each other. That's what I have to say. And that it was very fortuitous going to Red Dwarf on Thursday night and having the people be there that were there.
Yeah.
Not just the Red Dwarf staff, because they were amazing. Absolutely amazing. But the fact that we ran into 2 general managers from 2 other Tiki bars, because when they're not at their amazing Tiki bars, their world-class Tiki bars, they're at the fucking shitty dive bar Tiki bar.
Yeah.
And it was the shitty dive bar Tiki bar.
The punk rock Tiki bar.
The punk rock Tiki bar.
But no less amazing.
Oh, so good.
The only disappointment I had
so good.
is I saw mandolins come out. I saw acoustic guitars, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be good. Yeah. And then they played death metal or whatever.
Yeah, I was really getting excited for you there for a moment. I'm like, oh, he's going to go wild. He's going to go nuts.
It's Billy motherfucking Strings.
I would have snuck in. I would have been filling in on some songs if they were playing some shit I could understand.
There you go.
It's going to be bluegrass. I know it.
Super fun. So our Thursday night, thanks to Dan being like, we should just go to Red Dwarf. And we had the magic number is 6, not 7. 6 gets you into an Uber XL.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
So we abused everything that General Motors or Honda says is a 6-passenger.
Right.
We tested it.
Well, I think fortunately we had Robot, who's tiny, Sean, who is fairly svelte. And I mean,
we were 3 up in the back seat.
We were
a place that's generally relegated to 2 9-year-olds. Yeah. We were 3 deep all the time.
Like, don't forget, John's what are you 6'8", 6'7"? How tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
Okay, well, to me, I'm 5'9", so you're a giant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like he couldn't have gone into the back just for his height.
I could have, but I'm glad I didn't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we held down the back pretty well.
We did hold down the back pretty well.
We sure did.
We now have a new level of intimacy.
You're lucky I was in the front when that car tried to take us out.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That's a story. We're gonna have to.
We'll get to that later.
Don't forget
that.
Wait,
after band camp and Mid-Ohio, you
the
now have a
patented
whole
Johnny
new
Mac
relationship.
alert system.
I was going to have you identify who all from here went out to Las Vegas.
Excellent. So Dan got their forward party. He got there a little ahead of us because he's been apparently a Las Vegas resident for the past month.
Yes.
Because you had
8 days out of 21 in Vegas.
and you're fucking standing.
I'm fucking done with Vegas. Jesus.
And so you showed up, and of course, this is how you know an adult. He's like, I got my own room. Don't even try to get me a room. I got my own room.
Yep.
So that was fun. And then Johnny Mac and Sleepy and I came in on the same plane. So we the three horsemen of the apocalypse, we all showed up in one plane. And Sean, you flew in ahead of us.
Yes.
So you were already there.
I had most of Wednesday there.
There was a moment in time when we got out of our Uber and we were at the Hampton by the convention center, and you could not have planned it. You talk about a bullet hitting a bullet. When 3 guys from Cleveland ran into a guy that got there the day early, and then a day before, and that we all managed to be in the exact same 10 feet of square space at the same time.
But we didn't even call or text.
No, there were no plans made. No. It was just boom, we're here now.
Free drinks or something? I mean,
this is somewhere there was somebody ringing an invisible bell. Right. It was we were just in tune too.
The fact that Dan could walk at that point, because he was way cursive at that point.
Fucking Dan was fucked up. I've known Dan for a lot of years. I've never seen Dan fucked up. Dan was fucked up.
Yes, I was 7 cocktails in.
And not just cocktails, but he was at some of the he went to the legit places.
The Velvet Rabbit.
Yeah. So he was 7 Porco kind of drinks in. Yeah.
Oh, when I got there, it's the most cursive I've ever seen him. By far the most cursive I've ever seen him.
It had the curly cues on the tail, man.
It did. He was extra serif.
At one point when we were at Red Dwarf, I remember he was just sitting there, Dan, you were just looking at your drink. And you're looking at the straw, and you were kind of sizing up how to get it in your mouth.
So that was our crew, and then we were joined the next day by Robot from San Diego, aka Jeff Corsaro, my friend from out there. And so he joined our team of Misfits, the Cleveland version of the Misfits, if you will. He joined us, so that was a really fun add-on to our crew. So it was a really good time. We had a blast. No problem at all.
Yeah, that was the question I was gonna
to clarify. Yes, posit that Red Dwarf the bar has not a single Red Dwarf the BBC sci-fi TV show that I am, by the way, in love with and watched every episode, including the bad made-for-TV movie. There's not a single Red Dwarf reference in that place. So if you go in there expecting to see Crichton and Rimmer, that is not going to happen.
No.
It is totally different. Go ahead, John.
And somebody asked that question, whether it was...
Oh, yeah. Sleepy popped it up on the screen.
Yeah, it's just not. I could find no reference to Red Dwarf the
not
film.
Not even an H. They could have just had an H
There's a
somewhere.
fucking hologram just hanging in the corner. Any number of things would have been enough for me. It somehow makes it sweeter, though, that it was they just named it Red Dwarf.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There was another question, too, about Portland. Do you know any tiki bars in Portland? Because I went to, what's the big corporate chain one? Trader
Vic's.
Trader Vic's. But Trader Vic's burned down and they never reopened.
Yeah, there are plenty of tiki bars in Portland. We have no problem. But you know what? When you find me, I won't be there. I'll be at the Acropolis. John and I will be at the Acropolis.
I already name dropped it. Somebody asked what a good tiki bar was, and I'm like, not tiki, but the Acropolis.
There you go.
That's it, man. If you know, you know. If you go, you go.
Y'all and AD will be sitting there.
He'll be there. He'll meet us for drinks, I'm sure. Yep. So that was fucking cool. I'm very happy with that the AIM Expo for us was brilliant. Mm-hmm. It really was. The one show afterwards, absolutely brilliant. Meeting all of our friends there, seeing the Misfits there, getting to talk to Creative Writing Podcast,
everybody.
Everybody.
Some of our new Chinese friends that we got to talk to, it was cute. There's a lot of really cute interactions. John was amazing to the one lady. You really knocked that out of the park. You made her day, dude. She was so happy. Because I think they take it, I think some people are just rude, nah. John was just being her best friend, and it was really cute, man. It was nice.
Well, you feel like some of those people, like the Royal Ally or Regal Raptor guys, they're representing their village, bringing this bike to the States, really hoping that it gets picked up and sold because it means jobs and stuff. And you're looking at this thing but I tried to be nice.
Is that the 2-liter car Goldwing?
I promise you I'll pull one up here just as fast as I can. So
I guess I better
see it.
So
John, why don't you tell folks about
the Regal Raptor?
The Regal Raptor is a huge motorcycle.
Huge.
I assume that came out of China. I mean,
it did.
Yeah,
100%.
Chinese made of an agricultural motorcycle with a 10-gallon gas tank.
No foot controls at all.
No, only hand controls. Everything very chunky and made out of cast pot aluminum metals, welded together. Then
You can go ahead and pull it up, Sleepy.
Weight was no object in the manufacture of it. A single-sided weird hub in the back, and then a CVT transmission with forward, neutral, and reverse only.
In fact, what I thought was the most interesting about the Regal Raptor was not the pot metal cast everything. The handlebars, I swear to God, every cast part on that vehicle looked like it was sand cast.
Gravel cast.
Gravel cast. Like the worst sand casting I'd ever seen in my life. And what made it super, super special on top of all that was that CVT transmission had, no joke, a lawn tractor control, park, reverse, neutral, drive.
Phil, Sleepy, God damn it, Dan. Dan sent me a picture of that. I was wondering what the hell it was.
Well, and it had horseshoes, literal like 16-pound horseshoes for grab rails on the back.
This for luggage. This for holding bike.
This for holding oxen.
And I'm sorry if I'm being but that's what he said.
And the best part, I looked it up. That giant 900-pound motorcycle with the 1,000cc engine makes 72 horsepower.
Not shocking. I believe that
it's got 4 Folgers cans.
I believe that was a 1,000cc generator motor.
Yeah,
I think it was a 1,000cc generator motor that happened to be going through an agricultural transmission, because I recognized the transmission off my brother's lawn implements.
Yeah.
And I looked down and it was going through a jack shaft, which means that it will go just as fast in reverse as it will in forward. So whether you're in drive or whether you're in reverse, the RPMs are going to be exactly the same.
So I was right when I called it the new Ridley.
It is.
Yeah.
I think
it was crazy.
The outline of it looks like the BMW R1200C.
You're not. We agreed on that in the booth. We agreed upon that. Yeah, that was something that we kind of were like.
It's like an unrefined version of it.
So the Germans saw the American chopper and went, "We can do that," and the Chinese saw the R1200 and went, "Oh, we can do that."
Yeah, they saw a 20-year-old.
So I came home,
ill-designed BMW
I came home and created a
interpretation.
new job for myself.
Go ahead.
So I was like, after walking around this show and seeing this motorcycle and a few other ones that were like so bad, like the 300 series rear tire on an 800cc cruiser that looked like Jesse James got it built at a
I'm Sleepy. I don't want to interrupt you, but sir, that was a 360 series rear tire.
Okay, it was
so. And for people who aren't in the know, that means it's 360 goddamn millimeters. And it turns out that a tire that wide, when you look at it, that is the closest thing to an sphere that I have ever seen, because its width, its aspect ratio is very spheroid.
It is.
It is a roller.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like a big ball.
But like there were so many bikes that they were like, did they even do any market research at all? So that's what I was going to say, is as a consultant to be like, before you go into production, can I, like, all you have to do is send me the pictures and pay me, and I will tell you no.
Before you name your motorcycle, I'm an American, you should probably pass it to me first.
The Tushashi.
We had this discussion.
What was it? The Thrike?
Oh, that's
All-Thrike.
All-Thrike.
The All-Thrike. That's going to be named differently for the United States market. Thank you very much.
What was the price point on that bike? Did they tell you?
Non-disclosed.
Okay.
Non-disclosed.
What, if you were to guess? I mean,
like 10K.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably 10K.
The huge problem is you got to pass through NHTSA and DOT and EPA and everything else, and that's still going to cost money, even if the thing costs $10 to build.
The reason I asked is less and less people know how to shift.
Oh, yeah.
Cars.
Yeah.
And so it might be a pathway to getting young folks who are interested in getting on bikes but don't know how to shift.
Right.
If it's just forward and reverse and neutral, then that would pave the way to maybe sell these things.
I just pulled an image up on the screen because that company that gave us the Regal Raptor V-Twin 1000 also has given us this. This wasn't at the show. This wasn't at the booth. But I did look it up, and this is called the Regal Raptor Spider. So Regal Raptor, because I was so fucking blown away by what we saw and the awfulness of the 10-gallon gas tank, and just everything about it was absurd. It was obscene. It was a Boss Haas with less motor. That's all it was. Everything was ridiculously overdone. And what you see here is a very tasteful, pretending to be a parallel twin, but it's a single, 350cc. This is a market segment in China the fake Jesse James / West Coast Choppers bikes. This is a thing. There are many dealerships in China that have a shit ton of these, and you can buy them from 50 cc's up to apparently Regal Raptor V2 1000 cc's. The point is that America has a really long history of doing big fucking V-twins, and Honda has a very long history of copying America doing big fucking V-twins. China is new to the game. They haven't had a motorcycle in China over 300 cc's for very long. You know, Chinese motorcycles over 300 cc's are only something that's happened in the past 10 years. So they're pretty far from the source. And their manufacturing focuses on the smaller displacement bikes, clearly. So that when you see these big bruiser 1000 cc bikes, very frequently the motor that they're powering them with is a agricultural or utilitarian motor not intended for motorcycle applications. And that's exactly what that Regal Raptor was. It was look, I pulled the thing off the side stand. I hoisted the weight. I tried the brakes. It was awful. Everything about it was awful. There was a whole bunch of unnecessary plumbing underneath that went nowhere for the exhaust. Go ahead.
Well, I'm sure maybe it was awful, you know, but I wonder, like, maybe it's extremely utilitarian. Maybe it's extremely robust. I mean, it was rough, but maybe that thing will run forever because it's underpowered, understressed, and over agricultured.
That's what we always talked about with India and the Bajaj, is that it's such an industrial and agricultural motor version of the Vespa that it just plods along. And that's the thing, is you're only ever going to do 3,000 RPM. It'll plod along all day.
Chris, you were saying?
John just hit it.
Yeah, maybe. And then too, if you're in China and you're riding that thing, well, you're probably the shit, because like it's
Also
a huge
true.
bike and everybody's like, wow, look at that huge, cool bike, you know, because there's nothing better to compare it to. I mean, I don't know.
It's definitely one of those things that I just found their actual website, and their actual website logo has a screaming eagle on it, and the color orange and black.
Oh,
I don't know if you want to pull that up, but you see, but there is the Regal Raptor, and yes, they call it the 1,000-mile eagle. By the way, the 1,000-mile eagle. I think that tells you everything about their marketing strategy. Yay! They say it has a 100-mile-per-hour top speed. I don't doubt that. I'm not doubting any of that, but they do give forged frames. And when I promise and I tell you that, man, okay, you're forged. I get it. But so is OSB. OSB is forged. They don't just glue it together. They press it. Very many things on this bike were just absolute shit. Go ahead, Chris.
looks like they've got reverse gear and a parking brake.
And a parking brake.
A parking brake.
No, not just a parking brake, my friend. Parking gear. There is literally on the gear shift by your left knee is Prindle, Prndl. Yeah. There is a Prindle by your left knee.
Dan sent me that photo. Literally, it was a car. Looked like somebody pulled it out of a
It's
Honda.
a plastic casing with the PRNDL just in the plastic.
I'm not joking when I tell you that is the same control that came off of my brother's bad boy zero turn radius thing. It's the same exact housing and everything.
Dixie chopper.
It is. It's the same fucking thing, dude. They didn't go far to buy it.
Yeah,
They went to an agricultural store.
down the road. Yeah,
Down the road.
Didn't they put a blank out panel on that
They said
too?
0 to 60 in. They said 0 to 60 in 5 seconds, and I'm going to tell you, it would take you 5 seconds to engage the drive system and to let the back tire actually engage movement.
Your screen is blowing out the camera.
My screen.
Yeah.
The bottom one.
Oh, the bottom one, because it's
Let's
all
close
white.
that. Yeah, it's all white. It's too white. We make that.
There it goes.
There we go. All right. Yay! Very good.
Oh, you can control it. Wow, that's fast. That's crazy.
Yeah. So in my own opinion of that particular monstrosity. Yes. Now I have to say that as in previous years, we were overrun with Chinese electric bicycles. Oof. And people that were there this year were like, my God, there's a lot of Chinese bikes here. No, last year it was 70%.
Wow.
Chinese bikes. This year there was Honda, there was Triumph, there was Yamaha, there was they were all there. The big guys were there.
There was
a
whisper of Honda there.
There was a whisper.
Not much.
Although that is the first time I've seen their automatic clutch
CB1000?
CB650. 4-cylinder, 4-banger.
I knew it was 6.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah. And I did look into that. And the idea behind that is that you can operate it with a clutch, like you know how to ride a motorcycle, but you can give it to somebody who doesn't know how to ride a motorcycle, and then they can just ride it, and then it will electronically pull the clutch. So there's a servo that drives a clutch arm. so that if you're riding it and you ride clutches every day of your life, you're going to get on that bike, you're going to ride it, and it's just going to be the bike you always ridden.
Can you just turn that thing off then and just make it a normal bike?
The good news is you don't have to.
Oh.
It does. So it says Sleepy's an idiot. Sleepy hasn't shifted yet. I'm going to pull the clutch and shift for him. Okay?
Okay.
So if you come down to the stoplight in 6th gear because you forgot to pull the clutch and downshift, it's going to do that for you. Now, you can also drive it like you ride clutch bikes your whole life and just get on it and ride it and never know that it has that automatic feature.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable with a bike I can't be an idiot on.
Well,
what about that? Like, what if you're trying to go through the twisties and you're at like 9,000 RPM or something?
Sport mode. So it has modes that you have to engage.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you what the guy in the booth told me. Please forgive me for the statement I'm about to make. Fuck it. I'm going to change it. I'm not going to die on his fucking hill. I'm going to make it my own hill. If your wife drives a 6-speed manual transmission motorcycle like she owns the fucking world and she's got several fucking state championships under her belt, like, an experienced motorcycle operator, but you just married this woman and you want to ride a motorcycle too, but in your family, you have one motorcycle. This would be the motorcycle to own.
Okay.
She can get on it, carve the corners, late brake, do all the fun shit she wants to do. She can hold first gear out until 12,000 RPM. And then when you get on the bike, you can operate it and never touch the clutch lever.
I say she should have found a better wife.
Also possible, right? Also possible. But that would be one of the things, not everybody on the planet has the kind of luxury where they can afford to have 2 motorcycles in the garage. Right. This would be a motorcycle for people that both want a sporty standard bike and also might want to have a bike that somebody who doesn't know motorcycles could get on and learn how to ride fairly easily. It's a very interesting application of technology. The guys from Torrance, California were really nice, take me around and show me all the things about it and how it worked. I thought that was really, really cool. Neat fucking machine. Weird machine.
Weird that they would do the E-clutch and the DCT at the same time.
Again, remember that Honda was one of the first companies to provide us with a Honda-matic.
Yeah, and everybody tries to forget that.
Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, CTX.
Yeah.
Right? Honda keeps going back and trying to build the automatic transmission that people will buy. Now, how many times has Moto Guzzi done an automatic transmission?
Once.
Exactly.
And you can't find the freaking kettle.
Right, but we know that they tried once.
They tried once.
I need to ride a DCT because I shit on it, but I haven't really tried it. And I know there are plenty of people who love them and say they're great.
Well,
so I need to stop.
The reality is, look at the Aprilia Mana, because that's the closest you're going to get to an automatic motorcycle, CVT. And everybody went, no.
Again, now
I know a guy who loved the shit out of it and would take one back and would ride it today. And unfortunately, he didn't come tonight. But if he was here,
there's a chair for him.
He'd be fighting you right now.
I have always wanted to ride one. I've never been near one because the closest Aprilia dealer was 100 miles.
Well, the good news is you're sitting in the room with somebody who rode quite a few miles on one and did ride it with a semi-automatic in sport mode and did ride it in the completely neutered, eco mode.
Yep.
And also I've ridden the Honda Goldwing DCT and that thing is goddamn amazing. What isn't amazing was the CTX that we all got to ride, the one that I brought out so we could all ride it here at the shop. And we all got to ride that CTX around, that 700. And it did, it downshifted in the middle of the turn. That made me upset.
I've never been impressed with the DCT. The flappy paddle thing is just...
I would say your experiences are too small.
Yeah.
And that once you experience bigger, more capable bikes that have a DCT transmission or a better DCT transmission, you're probably going to be okay. With that price point that Honda was trying to achieve with the CTX, they didn't have the sport performance modes like they did have on the Goldwing. So when I rode the Goldwing on the demo that I took, which went on forever, if you put it in the eco mode, you just rode it like it was a giant 1800cc scooter. You just twisted it and it went flawlessly, absolutely smoothly up through the gears. And next thing you do, you're going 100 miles per hour and you never felt it shift one time. Then you put it in sport mode and it will hold the shift as long as you're crazy enough to hold it to the point where you are at red line and it will not throw you another gear.
I'm actually really shocked they haven't just put a car transmission in the Goldwing at this point.
I think they did.
Just automatic go.
But
No, just don't even offer a shifter.
you may power glide.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe part of it though too is once you ride a DCT for a little bit, you get to know how it works, and then you can kind of control the transmission by how much throttle you put into it. You know, if you give it, you know, you just know what it's going to do, and you know that well.
You understand its behaviors.
Yeah, it's going to lag a little bit in shifting gear, so I've got to give it a little extra throttle to give it either get it to shift down or make up for lacking in the corner or something.
I totally agree. That's that idea of an automatic transmission motorcycle, because there are so many people that simply don't. And yes, I'm an experienced motorcycle rider. I'm a dealer who comes from a standpoint where it's just like every time somebody says, well, do they make it in an automatic? You look, guys, I've been doing this for 24 plus years. I've heard that 24,000 times. And I always say, take the 10 minutes and learn how to shift. Take the 10 minutes and learn how to ride a clutch. Because one thing that all of us have is there was a day in our lives before we knew how to ride with a clutch. We might have been 4, but there was a day before we knew how to do it. And then there was a day after we knew how to do it. And once we knew how to do it, then we never really looked back. But for a lot of people who expect the world to be pret-a-porter, it's meant to be ready for them right now. They want the technology to meet them at their skill set. Well, maybe this is the time, where like I would have a helicopter tomorrow in the driveway if they made one that was dumbed down to my point where I could fly it.
I rode my first motorcycle with a clutch right into a wall. So, my first ride was across the yard and right into a wall. So.
Some of us learn the hot part of the stove by touching it.
Into a bush, so I didn't hit the Honda.
Another excellent.
So I now own the motorcycle that I learned to ride a clutch on and rode into a wall.
So on to a next subject for homework for our podcast members. Whilst at the AIM Expo, I got to spend a little bit of time in the KTM booth. And on the backside of the KTM booth was the MV Agusta booth, which is a format they ran last year as well. Because, of course, as anybody knows, the KTM bought MV Agusta. And 18 months later, KTM sold MV Agusta. So who they sold MV Agusta to was the guys that owned 49%.
Sakharov or something like that?
Sakharov. He's an oligarch. Yeah. Okay, so he's the son of an oligarch. So from a family that's made its way in the world of rhino hunting. Yeah, I said that right. Yeah. Endangered species. Never met one he didn't like to shoot. Right. His daddy is an oligarch. By definition, you don't have to look it up. I believe that's what it says on his LinkedIn. Okay. On the back of his 364-foot yacht, it says, "Thanks, Vlad." Right. Yeah. He sold off all the road wheels from the Russian. I don't know what he did. I have no idea how he got to be an oligarch, but he is an oligarch. And his son is a son of an oligarch. And his son bought 49% of MV Agusta. KTM owned 51% of MV Agusta. Well, in KTM's financial special operation, they have been required to sell off 51% their stake in MV Agusta. And who do you think they sold it to? The Russian oligarch's son.
Was he there?
No.
No, the dude that was by MV Agusta,
yes.
He was in like a $5,000 suit with a Rolex.
With a giant Rolex?
Yeah,
I talked to that guy.
He's not, because he seemed really...
He's super cool.
Was he?
He's that guy that I talked to.
I did not find the same thing from him.
He was very friendly, very nice to talk to, but I can promise you this. The 51% of MV Agusta that KTM owned, the Russians got to buy that back for pennies on the dollar.
Wow.
Because the restructuring program that KTM is going through has told them that they have to cut rid of certain weight. They have to sell certain things. They have to pay bills because they got too big too fast. And they opened up too much stuff in a hurry and the market got real soft. They sold a bunch of cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. That's cool. But right now they've got over a year's worth of motorcycles that people aren't buying. And they got all the bills from opening up these factories and doing all this fun shit. So I talked to the guy in the MV Agusta booth, and he was extraordinarily happy about the deal that they got because They had 49% of the company, and now they have 100% of the company. But the 51% of the company they just got only cost them 2% of the money to buy it.
That's a lot of percent.
It's a good way to buy it.
But that's fast math, and that's how you make money when other people lose it. Okay? Now, we're going to talk briefly about KTM, because you know what? I did talk to the guys at KTM, and I spent some time in their booth. And I was assured by KTM that the rumors of their death were greatly exaggerated. Mark Twain, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's what I can tell you. Those guys told me about the new models they have coming out. Those guys told me about the financial restructuring that they wanted to participate in. We're doing this because we want to, in our heart and soul. This is a decision that we're making. This isn't a forced bankruptcy. No. This is a financial restructuring on behalf of Pure. Okay. Unfortunately, the over 2.2 billion with a B, and I've also read reports of $3 billion of money that they owe to their vendors that they haven't paid. Those people have a say. They provided the products that KTM used to build their motorcycles, and they would like to be paid for their parts, for their metal, for their castings, for their labor, for the people that work there that can't buy groceries this month because they haven't gotten the check that they're supposed to get from KTM, including a fella or a group that KTM went to borrow a shit ton of money to try to keep themselves fluid and solvent. And there's a trick about borrowing money. Don't. Okay? When you borrow money, you are very quickly beholden to the motherfucker you borrowed it from. They have people that come and break your knees. They have people that come and take away your car. They have people that generally make your life unhappy if you don't have a plan in place to pay back the money that you're borrowing. So if you borrow the money and you don't think you can pay it back, I'm going to give you a hint. Don't borrow the money. So this was the problem. So we have a problem, and that is that one of their major creditors for KTM is an American company. And this American company now controls a piece of string that goes directly to KTM's nutsack. Okay? Meaning that this particular group of Americans can make life really uncomfortable for the people at KTM in the process of their Austrian government sanctioned voluntary restructuring. And when you owe one company $2.2 billion, that one company has a lot of say in what you do with your company. You have voluntarily given away your control over your own company. And this is what's happening. And coming up here on February 25th, they're about to go into a hearing that will greatly affect what KTM looks like in the next year, including, remember that Pure, their CEO, has been pulled. He's no longer the CEO, and it has been handed off to somebody else. This group called White Box Advisors. White Box. Come to your own fucking conclusions. I'm not going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole.
Hole in a box.
White Box Advisors LLC. White Box Advisors LLC. I looked them up. They have a long history of buying big-ass companies that are in financial trouble. And most of the time, they don't really want to own those companies. They loan giant amounts of money to people who are in really bad trouble. And then when those people get in really bad trouble, White Box is there to liquidate them.
They're breakers.
Because this all sounded familiar, and I had to look it back up. This is how that Texas group owned Ducati twice.
Yep. Texas Pacific Group.
Yep.
Yeah, TPG. TPG had no desire to own Ducati.
They just owned them.
This is a KTM as a cruise ship beaching itself on an Indian beach.
Pretty much, yeah.
This is, hold on.
We were talking about, because you're talking about the this is the whole thing, the ClevelandMoto and now Marini are basically selling KTMs under their own, basically the same equivalent.
No, ClevelandMoto and KTM are sharing a lot of mechanical architecture and a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff was built by ClevelandMoto with a KTM badge on it, engineering back and forth.
But the analogy that Johnny's using of basically they're beaching themselves for breaking down.
Well,
now you've already got the product under a different label.
I've read 13 articles that all said Bajaj is back there putting their fucking putting their napkin on, putting their bib on.
True.
Getting ready to eat KTM.
True.
Bajaj owns 37 and CF Moto owns 36%.
And I've read different numbers, but yes to the same.
Yeah.
Everyone says that what's probably going to happen is that Bajaj is going to swoop in because they have the capital. It wouldn't bother them one bit. CF Moto has the capital. It wouldn't bother them one bit. They're going to swoop in, and the three-way relationship is going to become a two-way relationship. However, there's a problem, and that problem is White Box and others like White Box, because White Box is owed a shit ton of money. There's over $3 billion of money that's owed out there, and they might get in the way, and there might not be an opportunity for Bajaj to buy them. There might not be an opportunity for CF Moto to buy them. If these people that control so much of KTM's debt right now convinces the Austrian courts that due to the amount of debt that they're owed, that they should be put in charge of the company because they owe such a staggering amount of that debt. And there are no shortage of financial advisors who are all saying that KTM stock, which is now being available at 18 bucks a share, lowest it's ever been. And they're talking about Pierre decided he was going to invent a whole bunch of stock by issuing 16.8 million shares. Are you going to buy at $16 a share or $18 a share? Are you going to buy 16.8 million shares of stock in KTM right meow? Because I wouldn't. No way in hell. But that's what they're doing is they have to build up capital. So he thinks that's going to give him $900 million of capital. The math works out on that. And that's going to help offset this $3 billion he has in claims. And I looked and the number $3 billion and $900 million are not very close to each other. So on the sheet, I checked, and it's not enough to pay off $3 billion in debt unless you're planning on paying everybody 30% of what you owe them. And that's going to be tough. So I'm curious about that because White Box has a plan. And White Box's plan is a little different than what the people in the KTM booth were telling me. The White Box plan for KTM is receiving only 45% back on their loans. They're going to release KTM from 60 or 55% of their financial
burden.
But they would own KTM. And ain't nobody ever wrote an article until yesterday. Everyone says Bajaj, everyone says CF Moto. Nobody says some financial company out of Wisconsin, right? Minneapolis. Nobody saw that one coming. That's the left hook nobody ever saw. And I can promise you at that AIM Expo, the guys in the booth that I talked to were very happy to blow sunshine up my ass. Talking about making me their next KTM dealer in Cleveland.
Yeah, they were smiling a lot.
Oh, absolutely. And I think there's a hell of a lot that I'll pay you on Tuesday for a cheeseburger today. Right? When I read this, has anybody heard of the company called LG?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No.
Yeah, White Box fucked them.
TVs.
All right. So White Box went after distressed assets at LG. How about German battery manufacturer Varta? If you've ever spent any time in Germany, you little gold-colored batteries with a green print on the side says Varta. They also, White Box went after those guys. So this White Box company is not a guy that happened to loan $2.2 billion to somebody. This is a group that knows exactly what they're doing when they loan struggling companies money. This isn't their first rodeo. 2 weeks until the final vote that decides what's going to happen with KTM. That's something, those numbers are insurmountable to me. It's very strange that KTM had that explosive growth 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, truly epic. KTM was everywhere. And that is not great. And there's 2 links in the show notes I put in there. I want everybody to take a look at those because when you see that level of debt, $3 billion of debt, and that is not counting the 1 year's worth of old motorcycles that are sitting in dealer showrooms that have KTM branding on them. Because right now, if you're a dealer and you're looking down the barrel of that, it's fucking terrifying, man. Yeah. It is scary. How I know they're in trouble is they offered me a franchise.
Wow.
Oh, they're down to the
They must
bottom
be
of the
desperate.
barrel. Holy shit.
Oh, fuck.
And the term,
Don't get full of yourself, Phil. They offered me one too.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. The guy told me, he's like, you would not believe the margin you can make on these bikes. You cannot believe the prices we're going to sell you these bikes for.
Just follow their business model. You don't have to pay for them. It's all profit.
I'll take them all.
buddy, do you know what we can sell you? Would you like to buy a 390?
They're launching brand new motorcycles that are made in China. But I mean, keep in mind, they owned MV Agusta for less than 1 year. Like that whole thing, that whole MV Agusta thing, less than 1 year old. And so it's funny is that booth that I was in, the booth that was designed to have KTM on one side and MV Agusta on the other, they're probably still paying for that booth. Mm-hmm. Or the people who made the booth never got paid for it.
Never got paid.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Like, let's be serious. But that was something. And that's part of going to that expo is when you talk to the people in person and they lay their spiel on you and they're doing what they're meant to do. They're there to sign up dealers. KTM wasn't there. I mean, this is a dealer. The public's not invited to the show.
No.
This is not the general public. They are looking for distributors. They're looking for dealers. And the fact that guy saw that it said I was a dealership on my name badge, because I had 2 badges of the show. I've got media credentials, which I promptly gave to Sean. And then I've got my dealership credentials. It was fun when we were in the booth and the one guy kept calling him Philip.
I know. I was also Phil Waters for a substantial portion of the show.
We've all been Phil Waters at one point.
Yeah. At some point, I've walked up and handed you a badge that had my name on it.
No, officer, I'm Phil Waters.
We are all Spartacus. So that is one of those things that having that experience of getting to talk to all these different people. And it's also fun to see, like, how you get treated when you go into a booth and somebody's like, oh, hey, come on in. I want to sell you my Framistat or whatever. And then somebody goes, oh, shit, you're that guy. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm that guy. We heard about you. Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, that's true. I have chased my share of reps out of my shop. Like I don't do that.
Tell them you're going to buy bikes and they're your best friend again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? There were people in booths that I walked into and those people wouldn't give me the fucking time of day because those people in the interest of supporting their company have lied to me. And when they lied to me to give me the company line, and I asked them a question that's a real question that affects my business, and then they lie to me because they're upholding the company line. The motorcycle industry is very strange. I talked to people in those booths that I was friends with when I worked at a Suzuki dealership 30 years ago, right? And they've worked for 4 different people since then, too.
Well, everybody you talk to is like, oh, they're over there now, or that guy's over there.
Oh, that was my best one.
Yeah.
Hey, where's my friend Scott? Oh, he's with Ducati now. And I'm like, I didn't even see that one coming. Yeah. Right. And even people that worked for Piaggio and now work for Piaggio again. Mm-hmm. Right. So there is a very small group of people in the United States of America that will do the job. And those people do bounce from manufacturer to manufacturer to manufacturer to manufacturer. If you want to have some fun, look at Agostini and Phil Reed, the racers, Phil Reed and Giacomo Agostini, and the early 60s, what were the the MV Agusta 500 years. So the MV Agusta 500 years, when the Japanese invasion of two-strokes was starting to happen, these two fellas went and realized that as long as you said something nice to Count MV Agusta, as long as you said something nice to him and said how nice his bikes were, he would pay your bills. And then one of those guys said, fuck it. And they went off to race for Yamaha for a year. And then they came back to MV Agusta, and the Italians were very upset that he came back because how dare you leave us to go race for our competition and then want to come back and race for us? Like, how dare you do that? Well, now that's considered no big deal. How many race teams has Valentino Rossi raced for? Right? They check your shirt. Who do you work for this week? Right?
They showed that really good in that Senna film.
Yeah, and
they showed really he's like, hey, it's business. Like he totally crushed the whole company by leaving them. It was like, hey, man, my career, hey,
I got a race for me.
Yeah,
right. You're paying for this year. I got a contract.
Right.
Next year I could be anywhere else. Sports teams are the exact same way. Yep. Extraordinarily. Do not burn the bridges, man. Do not in this thing. Bad news, folks. We were all talking about, hey, wouldn't it be great to go to Isle of Man? Wouldn't it be great to do the green lanes? Wouldn't it be great to ride around and not get stuck in all the traffic when they're racing? Guess what? They're done. Well, they're not super done yet, but you were close.
Wait, what's done? The green lanes?
The green lanes.
Oh, I was like, dude, I want to see the Isle of Man. Like, you fucking scared me there.
So what they're saying is...
Do your homework.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Right, do your homework. They've said that officials at the Isle of Man, officials on the island, have said that some visiting riders have used these unsurfaced rights of way. We've talked about green lanes before. Green lanes mean you can go there. There's this right to wander that exists in certain European countries that say as long as you close the gate after you walk through it, you're welcome to traverse the land, and that nobody can stand out with a shotgun and say, don't step on my property if you're just perambulating, if you're just out there enjoying the land. So it is unusual. It was unusual to me to see all these guys on dirt bikes showing up at various different drinking institutions and getting that's nice. Getting the royal treatment when you show up on a dirt bike. These guys are showing up in dirt bike boots and blouses and the whole deal, and they're showing up and they're welcome. Hey, come on in. That's great. You're green laning? How cool. You're using the green lanes, which are just literally goat paths that go over the whole goddamn island, so they can go from excellent viewing spot to excellent viewing spot without having to use the roads that are closed during practice and the riding of the race. Super smart.
Yep.
Until people fuck it up. So apparently somebody fucked it up. So the complaint is.
Wait, you and Oscar were there a couple years ago, right?
We were there, and our plan was to come back in green lane.
Coincidence?
No, we didn't green lane while we were there. We just rode stupid bicycles around. They're talking about stopping it. So they're talking about shutting down the green laning during the Isle of Man, which is the only time I would care about the green laning. You know, fuck it. I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go there in fucking April to do green laning, you know, just like because I like a better view of sheep.
I would.
You would?
I would. I'd go there anytime. I was.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
It doesn't seem
I
bad.
was like, I'm like, I could sell my family on a trip to Isle of Man as long as it wasn't during the TT.
Right, as long as it wasn't during the TT. That makes perfect sense.
A week before, and then you're like, oh, they canceled our flight. Oh, I'm sorry.
Gotta hang around. Yeah, so it is one of those things that, you know, if there's a couple of guys that are being bad about it, their analogy was you would not deny soccer fans access to the FA Cup because there were some hooligans. Because there's been hooligans for fucking ever, man. And you just learn to deal with the hooligans. You still have the FA Cup. You still let people come in. You still take the money for the tickets. You just figure out a better way to deal with the hooligans. That's all it is. So I'm sad that could go away. It's not going to go away forever, but they're probably going to tighten it up for Isle of Man, which is going to ruin my fucking plans because I thought that would be like the absolute best fucking hack for being able to do the Isle of Man on a budget and make it fun, right? And okay, so I did my Isle of Man once without a motorcycle. Now I'm doing Isle of Man with a motorcycle.
It's just like being in Mid-Ohio. You know, you can ride around.
Shit, man. Like, okay, I'm sorry. If we could have the activities of Isle of Man, but the sensibilities of Mid-Ohio, that is nirvana. That is the definition of awesomeness.
And no boat ride or whatever.
Whatever, man. Whatever. Yeah, that's fine. I actually would look forward to a trip on the ferry. Sorry, Sean. That's it.
Speaking of that,
A lot of people do and don't like to say it out loud. It's fine.
what was the term that we used for the zip line?
Oh, was it Fabulous Flying Ferry or
Yes,
something
it
like
was.
that?
Yes.
That was the second version of our term.
Which out of the group, the manliest man of all of us was Sean. Right?
Again, not only did he say he was going to do it,
He did it.
he did it.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it half-assed. He went whole-assed. He went from the very top of
My
it
whole ass, yes.
all the way to the other side.
And I heard a tee-hee-hee or something on the way down.
When he went, he had no way of knowing where we were.
I was trying to figure. I was like,
It would be
kind of see.
impossible to know where we were. But it was magical that on camera, as he went past us, the arms went out whoosh, into full eagle.
Flying squirrel.
And when he went past us, he was not just full eagle, but he was shrieking.
Yeah.
And I was like, Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Did you make it to the end, or did you get stuck like?
No,
some
I
of the
didn't. I
ladies?
did not get stuck.
He wrote it in.
I flew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the thing that people don't realize, that fucker's like a half mile long.
It is.
Yeah.
So like when we
long.
we didn't see where he ended. We got to see like a quarter of the trip.
Yeah, we did. We got to see a quarter of it.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm glad we moved into an area where we could see it all.
Yeah.
Because it was fucking epic.
It was.
Once again, well played, Sean.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you kept your end up for all of us, because all of us were like, no, I don't think so.
Oh,
That sounds good,
next
Sean. Have
time.
fun with that.
I know. Next time.
I'm a little disappointed you didn't give everybody on Fremont Street a golden
golden
shower.
shower.
But,
As I was passing the Golden Nugget. Could have really doubled down on that.
So while we were on Fremont, we only did it for the one time just to observe and then watch you go crazy, which was great.
Thank you.
But you observed this with me, and we're pretty convinced that Vegas wants to make sure you have an experience of weirdos, but they are paid weirdos that are safe weirdos. Right? Because that biker dude, when we saw him like 2 or 3 times, you pointed him out, and I started watching him, and that fucking guy was acting the whole time. And then that girl, the Dance for Cigarettes girl, she was acting. She didn't even smoke.
it was all GTA.
Yeah,
It was.
the Grand Theft Auto, NPC generator.
Yeah. I'm convinced that if somebody tripped over the right plug on Fremont Street, that 90% of the people would disappear. They're gone.
Yeah.
Because I watched some of these people, and they were clearly on just pre-programmed routes.
Yeah.
And I'm also certain there was that 6'1" redhead that I passed her at least 4 times.
Yeah.
And there's 90,000 people on Fremont Street.
Oh.
How can you pass the same person 4 times? And I have a thing for tall redheads. Of course, that goes without saying. But yeah, the NPCs were just crazy.
It was nuts.
It was crazy. And you could see that not all of them were rendered to the same level. That some people were like GTA 2.
Yeah.
And some people were GTA 5.
They were experiments.
Yes.
They were a little more pixelated.
They were pixelated. They didn't have the full range of human
The rendering.
But you know what? So like not being drunk, none of us were, that day, especially that day, but me, but like, it was kind of nice to step outside, like, and see the workings of shit, like the street performers, like you had these people mad because this guy was taking too long and they had to get the cops to push the monkey out of the way to go over here. And when I said that, he was an actual monkey.
He was an actual 7-foot tall gorilla. Let's be clear. He was 7 or 8 feet tall in a gorilla suit that had to be 400 degrees inside.
Oh, I felt for that poor guy.
Dancing like they owed him money.
But it had super fans blowing from the ass cheeks.
It did have a fan.
Yeah, so it did. Yeah.
To watch the 2 dominatrixes.
Yes.
The red dominatrixes.
Dominatrices.
Dominatrices? Yes.
Why didn't I spend $30 on that? Damn.
Because it turned into 50 when the Mexican fella tried to have that shit done. And he learned real quickly with his wife watching.
Yeah.
Well,
Whatever that was.
hetero life mate, what have you.
Yeah.
So we say this. The 2 red team dominatrices, they showed up, and I would happen to be standing somewhere waiting to connect with a robot on that particular part of the journey. And the girl comes up to me, and she's dead-eyeing me. Like, these 2 red devil ladies are just like dead-eyeing me, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? But right behind me was the Fremont suit, doorman guy.
Yeah.
And she looked at him, and she's like, and she came up, and she had some serious shit to discuss with that guy.
Yeah.
And he goes, there's nothing I can do about it. You got to talk to a cop. And I went, did somebody touch this woman? Like, was there some miscarriage of Fremont Street justice that just occurred? And then she went and found a cop. And the cop was standing right in front of us. And she says, I paid for that spot. You got to get that cocksucker out of my spot. Because there was a gorilla in her spot.
Right.
And so and then a cop being the cop was just being like, yeah, that falls under the definition of a civil offense. I am not going to tell the guy in the gorilla suit anything. Right. And they have 5-foot diameter circles painted on the cement, and they are not to leave that circle. Because I'm sure the Las Vegas Department of Commerce decided how many circles there needed to be and where the circles could be, so that they didn't have the artists.
You pay your shekels and you get the circle for so many minutes at such a time.
And they have them in such a location that it won't create a log jam and create a problem with people getting into the casinos, which is where they really want to make the money.
But it's crazy that the city that allows this and like they want you to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
They also have like idiocracy side signs.
Yes.
Digital signs that say, do not pay the street performers. They are not part of our city.
Right.
Like, fuck these people. They're stupid and go fuck off. Like,
do not under any circumstances give money to the street performers.
Right.
The sign is
but they're
right
also
there.
booking them.
And they're booking them.
Well, yeah. Well, they more or less worded it in is that you don't know that you don't have to.
Right.
And also to make sure that people know that those street performers are not on the city payroll.
Right.
They're not provided by the city for your entertainment.
That's all busking.
It is all busking. And it's
Well, I'm sure
absolutely
they got to pay for those spots.
And then all the bands that
everybody's
were
got to pay for those spots.
all the bands that were segregating the streets.
Yeah.
That were bands, but they were just paid actors that kind of like the one girl's guitar solo was interesting.
You find out what band you're in when you show up that night.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they hand you your wardrobe.
Yeah. Like the guy with the 1990s, like I'm Shaggy from Scooby-Doo
Now,
glued onto his fucking face
Sleepy,
band guy.
Tell the people what neighborhoods exist on Fremont Street.
Well, if they're from this area, but
It's okay. They're not.
they're not. But like you have, when you first go in, it was like, we didn't realize this. We were just like, oh, modern music, hip hop. And they're just playing.
And we were
whatever.
traveling from Las Vegas Boulevard towards Plaza.
Right.
So we were our Gold Spike Hotel is at the testicles of the Fremont Street experience.
Right. So as we're walking, we realize that there's music changing and it's like this intermixed spot. Nobody's really there because it sounds like shit. So it creates almost like a
barrier.
parting of the seas.
It does.
And then the next one was 80s. And so now you had like 50-year-old white people and some inner like nice whatever, just mixing and kind of having fun. And then you'd go down the next one and it was like 80s hair metal and all the people that you're like, I don't want to be here. We're all congregated there. So we started to realize by the third one, we're like, this is segregated into cities. Like for us, it was like East Cleveland, Parma, like Middleburg Heights, like it was weird.
These four stages that exist on Fremont Street have uniquely curated bands and set lists so that the one at the very end by the plaza is called Sugar.
Yeah.
And this was the
they were the girl band.
They were like Josie and the Pussycats.
The hot girl band.
Yeah, they were all the hot girl band. This was like
with all the attitude and the girl power kind of.
This was like the Runaways.
Yeah.
Well, notice also when we were at the Sugar Girl band part, the Golden Gate bar girls got in on it because there were at one point 4 girl bartender dancers dancing with the Sugar Girls next to.
Boy,
So
and how.
they were in the right place.
John bought the most expensive beer ever. Honestly, amazing entertainment.
Or the cheapest strip bar.
Or the cheapest strip bar in Vegas.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, that was the cheapest strip club in Vegas.
Yeah, I was just worried that I hope they carded some of those girls to be dancing. I had to look away a little bit. They
Just so you know, guys, on the chat, my phone's dead, so I won't be responding to anything.
I'll see if I can dig you a battery up in a minute.
Yeah.
But Dave Sweargen just sent us $100.
Yeah! Sweargen!
So I did.
Thank you.
Go to Vegas.
I had to pull that out.
Thank
so.
you.
Hell yeah, you do. Absolutely.
I love that.
That was wild though about the Vegas experience being that it was neighborhoods. Like Fremont Street was neighborhoods.
Have we met Swedgen at
Sweargen, he came into the shop.
Ask him if he's got a question because he just did that.
Yeah.
If he's got a question, tell him to type it in the thing.
Yeah, type it in the thing and we'll answer your question,
Well,
Sweargen.
does he make it to Vintage Days or no? He's out of the realm. Maybe, yes.
Right.
Whatever. Well, I hope to be able
While
to
he's
enjoy
doing that, I do want to give a shameless plug for MotoGo's Shop Class benefit.
Oh, yeah.
So bringing back Shop Class, MotoGo, part of a Skidmark family of adventures, Skidmark Garage. We're very proud of Skidmark Garage here in Cleveland and everything Brian Shaffron does. But MotoGo is teaching Shop Class to kids. He's been here on our podcast. We talked about how you can fail and live to tell about it, how you can fail yourself into success. And everything about that. So the benefit is coming up. And I know that Dan, and we go every year, we go to the Shop Class benefit. And here's why I'm giving it a shameless plug. This is why I'm going to give it a hell of a lot of our time, because it's Saturday, March 22nd.
So you got time.
You got time.
Right.
And here's the biggest thing. It is no longer at Skidmark. We love Skidmark. Don't get me wrong. The space upstairs where they do the training is beautiful and it's super fun. But they laid their hands on one of the hottest tickets in Cleveland, Ohio. They are going to be at Crawford Auto and Aviation Museum.
Oh, sweet.
And to do this event in the basement at Crawford Auto and Aviation Museum, surrounded by priceless objects de automotive and airplanes and cool shit, It's really, really exciting. We are a sponsor at one of the mediocre levels, ClevelandMoto. I gave them some money because I give them money all the time. I love this group. I love everything they do. I wish there was more of this. I think every city should have a Moto Go.
Yes.
I can tell you that when shop class went away at my high school and when shop class went away for a lot of kids, it was a traumatic loss. To be able to have somebody show up and bring the bikes and bring the toys and to bring the V8 model engines that kids can build and understand where gasoline goes, right? Yeah. A very basic concept to a child, but then to be given a project, hey, take that apart.
Yep.
You learn so much by taking something apart. Mm-hmm. You learn so much by just engaging with a screwdriver in your hand and taking apart a thing, because you don't always have an Uncle Phil. You don't always have a bigger, older brother. You don't always have a male role model in your household to help you with that. And you'll notice a lot of happy young ladies are involved in Moto Go. And Brian has said that it's astonishing how many young ladies are getting involved in this. That's cool.
And now coming from my end.
Yeah.
One of the most important things you can have these days is a marketable skill.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, how much have you spent bringing me here because you could not find somebody
because there were none.
Knew how to turn a wrench.
There were none. And we ran ad after ad after ad.
And the reality is everybody right now is like, oh my God, what am I going to do for a living? How am I going to make a life? How do I make a living? Every time I tell somebody I say the words when I go with Becky to one of these events, I'm a mechanic. Uh-huh. So that thing where you make it rain with dollar bills at a strip club, I get business cards rained down on me like, oh my fucking God, you're a mechanic. When can you start?
Yeah.
And Moto Go trains you how to be a mechanic if you have an affinity for, even if you don't. Well, if you know how to turn a screwdriver, that's money.
On top of that, it's such a good cause that not only was Brian's mission and stuff, but our friend quit NASA, Steve Noble, and went and worked, and he's also part of Moto Go now. So it's such a powerful class and movement that it draws people from places that he thought his career was going to be NASA. He met the guys at Skidmark and then found out about Moto Go, got to be friends, did his classes. Boom. He just it moved him enough that he's with them now doing that.
What's the date again?
What is the date for that?
So the date of this is March 22nd. And when you go, do not overlook the fact that for $50 extra, you can purchase a raffle ticket for a 2008 Husqvarna Super Motard.
And it looks fun.
And it's a 450.
Tasty. Yep.
It's a good one. It's a really good one. And while we were there last year, we happened to be standing next to Crystal when she won the CB, the Honda CB.
Right.
That was a running functional motorcycle.
If anybody wants to find out about Moto Go, I actually did a whole interview with him at Skidmark, and it's on Moto Stories. If you go back, it was like last year, but he tells the whole story about how he even got into anything and how that came everything. And he talks about teaching, and it's amazing. It's a really cool story.
It is one of my favorite things that happens in Cleveland, Ohio in the motorcycle culture. I absolutely love it. It is a big goddamn deal for me. And I'm so proud that they did it. And I'm proud to attend, and I'm proud to be a sponsor. And ClevelandMoto will give love forever to Moto Go.
If they can figure out how to bottle that and export it to other towns.
No, because nobody works as hard.
I know.
Nobody works as hard as that crew. They do it selflessly, hundreds of hours, and they just give it. And they give and give and give. And they are so generous with their time.
Yep.
It really is. It's really something.
Do you want to hop on a plane and go back to the one show?
Sure. The one in Portland?
Yeah. No, the one that we went to.
The Vegas one.
Yeah.
Vegas.
We didn't talk about
Vegas, baby.
What's that? We can do that.
The other half of your trip.
Because we met our other listener.
There's one thing I want to circle back to, and it's the Red Dwarf. And the one most important thing that we don't think we mentioned.
Right.
The fucking pizza.
The pizza.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God. The best pizza in my life. I mean, that's the whole reason we went back the second night. I don't know.
I figured out what to call it. It's edging. It's edging pizza. because this is why.
Some people call it Detroit style.
Detroit style, but no. I call it edging because
the way you do it.
It was so hot that you were like, oh shit, what did I just get into? Because it had a good hot flavor to it. And you're like, oh my God, is this a ghost pepper? It's going to hit. And then it never hit. And then you just stayed at that. It stayed right at that level of like, okay, I like this.
You're almost topped off, but not.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was like
he just never got there.
It was like just the tip, but don't put it all the way in. It was like that. It was just,
I know that's how you like it.
Yeah.
And a reminder that it was loved so much, we did it twice.
Yes.
It was so nice we
it
had
was
to
in
do
my
it twice.
mouth 2 times.
We don't kink shame.
Yeah, I know.
I really like Angelo's Pizza in Lakewood. It's always been my world famous. That's my favorite pizza. That was better. I really like that pizza.
I can't recommend it enough.
I would fly back to Vegas just to get that fucking pizza.
I know you would. I absolutely know that you would.
He would like to have that in his mouth.
We all did.
But to go back to the one show, the actual one show, things about the one show that are amazing is just the layout of the place. And Sleepy, if you want to throw this up, you can throw this up as we go along. Here's us, robot, Sleepy, and me.
My favorite bike of the show.
Definitely our favorite crowd pleaser of the entire show was the Honda CT70 with the 6-over monster front end.
We're doing this to
that
Phil's new
6 over.
Dax next week, so
Yeah, it was beautiful in every way. There was no
But no
notes on this
sissy
thing.
bar. I'm a little disappointed by
They
that.
borrowed that front end from that Regal Raptor Spider.
Yeah, that is but
they
that was
that front wheel off a Buddy.
yes, they did. That also true.
Look at my fucking 10-gallon head.
Yeah, really. You look
Tell me they did. Tell me that.
you do look like you could eat robot.
Where did that giant head come from?
It is.
John just caught himself out.
He did. He just threw himself under the bus.
He's like, I'm going to do this before someone else does it.
What the fuck?
There's people that have a 4-head. John has an 8-head. This event. So this is at the Western Bingo Hall, and they cleared all the bingo tables out and everything else. Got a really nice parking lot. It was honestly the perfect location for this event. We got the pre-show with the pre-party pass on Thursday night. We went in and got to kind of have a sneak preview of the event. And what was funny is right after we took this picture, not seconds after we took this picture, one of our podcast listeners came up and said, "Hey, ClevelandMoto guys." And he showed up and we're like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Mr. wearing his cut vest with his patches, looking like a young person.
Yep.
And he goes, "I'm Ed from Kenosha."
Yeah.
"Well, are you now?" "Okay, Ed. Well, what you got? But why are you here?" "Well, I talked to you guys when you were at the Portland one show."
Nice.
Nice. Ed gets around. "Well, Ed, what do you got in the show?" "Oh, I got a weird bike, man. I got a weird bike." "Really? Hit me with your weirdness. Do your damage." "Well, I got a Husqvarna over there. There's fucking 6 Husqvarnas in this room. Dirt bikes are popular this year. But I got the Husqvarna with an automatic transmission. A 492 stroke with an automatic transmission taken direct from Chainsaw Technology," he added. Fantastic hanging out with him. Just one of my favorite things, meeting up with him.
I got a message on Instagram that I just found now.
Yeah.
And it was like, "Hey, I'm going to be at the show with you guys, blah, blah." And when I read it, I was like, "Oh, man." So I sent him a thing. I'm like, "Oh, so sorry. I just saw this." He goes, "No, I saw you guys." I was like, "Which one?" And so I was like, I was so happy because I was like, I was worried we missed the guy. And then no, it was him.
He's like, "No, I'm Ed with Husqvarna."
Yeah.
It was really cool.
On AdventureRider.com right now.
Yeah.
If you look, it has the one show and his bike is featured if you want to show a picture of it.
nice.
So
That is fantastic. I just this definitely goes in with the reason we go to these things is because we meet people. Well, we meet people we've never met before, but then we also get to spend time and meet people that are from our past and our friends from long, far away places. I really had a great time. The one show aspect, it was perfect.
Yeah,
it was a perfect motorcycle event. It wasn't too much, V-twin.
it was a really good mix.
It was a really good mix.
And the bike, the level of craftsmanship, like they mixed in some fun stuff and some silly stuff, but the level of craftsmanship on some of it was insane. Like 1,000 welds for the exhaust. And then the guy that did the Escher thing with the extra pipe, I'm still tripped out by that. I can't even explain it.
My favorite thing about that BMW K bike was counting the exhausts. Because we all know how many cylinders that motorcycle has.
Yep.
But he had too many pipes.
It was exhausting.
It was exhausting. And each pipe was hand welded and just beautiful. But it was not joking. Like you're sitting there, you're laying on your back, literally tracking.
I was.
Tracking exhausts that are hand built, hand tigged.
And he came up, and because we were doing that, he looked at me and he goes, "You got it." And we're like, "We got it.
We got it. You have too many exhausts on this motorcycle."
But how sick is that? That he like, not only is it amazing that he fabricated the fucking thing, but he built a joke into it.
He did.
Like,
not only
fucking
if he would have just
So
built
the punchline is it was a 4-cylinder with five
pipes.
Yeah.
So not 5 exhaustuses, no, 5 headers. So there was an extra header pipe that was a crossover. Yeah. It was the craziest thing.
It was.
And in that situation, the guy who built the bike shows up and says, "Hey, buddy, I see a lane under my bike."
Yeah.
And he had 9 million good welds on that bike. It was a brilliant piece of art.
Oh, yeah.
But on top of that, he made a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was super fun.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah. It was very cool.
It was a great time. Lots of friendly people. Like
Everybody.
And no one,
Show
like,
that one
everyone
bike,
was happy to talk about
the
what
Honda.
they've done.
The CB175.
The CB175, CD175. We were lucky enough to meet. We were fortunate enough to meet Richard from Janus Motorcycles.
Oh yeah.
And Corey,
Janice and Kyle were there.
Kyle and Richard were there.
We had a blast with those guys, man.
They were so cool. We had so much fun. And it's one of those, it's just another one of those things where every time you go to an event, you just meet cooler people.
That was the Cylon bike that I like. That's what I called the Cylon.
The DeLorean looking bike.
The DeLorean. Yeah, well, it was funny because Sean came to the story just a little bit late. We were looking at this bike and we saw it in the first day and we're like, wow, this is really cool. That's a lot of work and a lot of beautiful workmanship. And then the next day,
oh yeah, I looked at it and I'm like, oh fuck, it's a DeLorean. Like the font is DeLorean. Like it's all DeLorean.
Literally, it says.
I was like, I couldn't believe I missed it.
It was pretty cool, and that's a local Las Vegas bike too. So that's pretty rad. Yeah, it was neat. The bikes that came out were extraordinary. They were really, really cool.
Is that a Beluga?
The fuck are you talking about?
Yamaha up right there. The scooter. What is?
No, that's a fling poo.
Okay.
A Venus.
It was basically me.
I thought it was the one show, and it was somebody had customized a Beluga.
This is a shop called Velocifero.
Oh.
Velocifero.
Yeah.
That whole Chinese village area was.
So this is from a company called Velocifero. They make the Velocifero Mobster. I had to take pictures. You wouldn't believe me if I didn't take pictures. And they make the Velocifero Tennis, right?
Oh my god!
Almost as bad as a chinchilla.
They make the Velocifero Jump.
That was cool. I did look at that.
Might as well jump.
We're the ones that. That.
And then
You know what? If you're at the Patreon $25 level, you're going to get this joke.
This is the Leafon. This is the Leafon Pan America.
This thing.
Oh my god!
This is the Leafon Pan America 250.
Yeah. Or was it 400?
I think that was the 400.
Yeah.
This is the Leafon retro anime manga.
This is Sleepy's dream bike.
No, I sent a picture of that to Mark, and Mark goes, "What did they let AI design that fucking?"
Yeah, it is totally an AI bike. AI definitely designed this bike.
These are the bikes that the Fremont NPCs are getting.
Yes,
That's totally on GTA, dude. Oh my god!
I love going to the place where that one regenerates.
Right. Yeah.
If you wait long enough, you get the special model with a weird collar.
Yeah, that bike was definitely one of the NPC bikes. This whole booth, this is Leafon Motorcycle.
Yeah.
And as much as we are busting
NPC
balls,
Motors.
you guys, bust balls all you want. They sold 29 million bikes last year.
Yeah.
So, look at you, you're a dumb Chinese person. That dumb Chinese company outsold Harley Davidson 12 times over.
Yeah, but how many T-shirts do they sell?
Right, exactly.
I didn't realize that I was in that photo.
You're in the picture. You are on the Pan America. You are on the Pan America for scale. Yeah. But this booth, there were a lot of booths like this. There were plenty of booths that were the small format 20 by 20 booths, and they got about 8 bikes in there, right? And it's easy to poke fun at them, but just keep in mind, be careful, because you don't want that to be your only option.
Show my bike, the one that the guy who built Ryan Reynolds' bike built.
I am trying to get to that one, John.
I know we passed it by a little bit ago.
Get to that
I
one.
saw it like a second.
Yeah,
The silvery Honda.
Yeah.
The silver bike, the silver CD175. I know it's in my collection. I did some editing and moved some things around, so you'll have to bear with me for just a second while I find it. No, it's a really good bike, John. Tell them more about it while I'm looking for the picture.
Well, I was sitting there looking it over and everything, and I look over and this woman, young lady or whatever, woman, his wife, probably her girlfriend.
That's no lady. That's my wife.
She was looking at me and smiling like, oh, you're looking at that bike. And I'm like, yeah, I'm looking at that, And I finally looked at her and he's like, that's his bike. And I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, so you built this and everything. He's like, can you guess what it is? And, I overthought it at first. I'm like, well, this is a CB160 motor, but it looks like it's in a Super 90 frame. And I was like getting all... And he's like, nope, that's not it. Think it, no, it's a 170.
Dude, that guy played Stump the Chumps with us.
I know, yeah. Oh, yeah. And rightfully
a little too many rounds.
Yeah, rightfully so, though. And then, he's like, oh, and I'm like, oh, da-da-da-da. I'm like, oh, I get it. It's a CD175. He's like, you're the only person to ever get that. That's a really rare bike.
Yeah, I only knew about that because you taught me about CD175s. Yeah. And I did a deep dive into CD175s.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I knew that.
It's not a rare bike. Dude, they made a million of them. It's no such thing as a rare Honda.
No, and it was a leftover bike. It was a bike Honda couldn't get rid of.
But nonetheless, I thought this was really cool. This was probably one of my favorite bikes, probably because I've got a soft spot for Hondas and everything. Yep. But it was nice talking with him. And he said that he built a bike for Ryan Reynolds and then he gave it back.
He did. Yeah. He built a Ryan Reynolds bike. And this bike has a TT500 front wheel.
Yeah.
It has a Suzuki gas tank. That's a Suzuki
off of
185
Stinger
gas
and it's
tank.
got a front wheel in the rear.
And I have
front tire in the rear. Yeah.
I have been talking with him about selling that blower to him. So
you should. I mean, he'd put it to good use, right?
Probably. He has 2-3 more of them.
Yeah. I thought this was a beautiful bike. I mean, just a gorgeous bike. Then John got hit by a snake.
Oh, the Piaggio booth.
The snake. We were very sad that there was no Piaggio snake.
No snake.
There was no snake. That was very sad that there was no snake.
They didn't demo the snake skin.
They did not. It was just sad that didn't happen.
I was hoping they would have had the Corsa V7 at that booth, and they didn't have it.
Don't you have any street strippers pictures?
Yeah. Sorry, John.
I'll have to send them to you.
I sent you plenty of street stripper pictures
that's only
that I didn't pay for.
That's at the special Patreon
level. That's the $20 level.
That's my favorite thing to do is get pictures of the girls you're not supposed to be able to get pictures of.
Yeah, because you just got away with something. The what I do want to do is a quick shout out to our Patreons, because Patreons, my God friends, you are where the rubber meets the road.
So the renovation all happened because the Patreons bought us a new fridge.
We have a new refrigerator thanks to the Patreons.
Thank you very kindly.
We have a very nice.
Give a big hand of applause for the Patreons.
The Patreons, absolutely.
I'll give them 2 fucking ski poles if that's what it takes.
Downhill racer. That's it.
That brand new refrigerator is like 3 times the size of the old dorm fridge.
It is. It really
a lot more.
We've never had so much luxury.
Seriously, thanks, guys. I really appreciate you.
Absolutely
ponying up some money. It's kind of cool to help us.
Meyer sent us a message. Meyer says, "I'm still listening, and I love the show. I'm glad you all started YouTube. I know moderation is a pain in the ass. Thank you for my merch," because he is a member, and he says, "I'm looking forward to the Discord group." I hadn't really thought about that. Okay, never mind. We're going to move on.
More tech. Bring it on.
That's exactly it. I'm like, come on, man.
I need more shit around.
Fucking Discord group. You want to yell at us? You can go to ClevelandMoto Podcast Facebook page, right? You can shout into the ether by sending us an email to clevelandmoto@gmail.com, right? That's fine. Go ahead.
Has anybody ever tried to call the bat phone real time during the podcast?
No, not recently. But they're more than welcome to try.
Did you get an email about
I
Tom?
actually don't have the bat phone with me right now.
Oh.
I'm sorry?
Did you get an email about Tom?
About?
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah. Oh, God.
No, not yet. It's coming.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. No, I'm just asking.
Oh, God.
All right.
Did you send one under a pseudonym?
No. Jesus fucking Christ, guys. All right, stay on topic. We've been getting logos.
Oh, yeah.
Logos have been sent to us. I am very excited about seeing some of our logos. The people that have entered and sent us in fucking logos you guys are heroes, and you're going to give us some really great shirts. We're going to turn remember, it should say Cleveland Moto Podcast on it somewhere. That's all we really care about.
I cleared out the corner now, and Renee has been like in go mode. So.
Renee has been buying ink, and we're buying shirts, and we're definitely into full mode for making fucking shirts.
Black, white, or gray?
Black.
Yeah.
And there's black.
Yeah.
Black. We tried the gray thing one time. We tried the tan thing.
Those
we got yelled at.
Rags. You can only wear them.
You can wear it one time, twice tops, right?
Rag.
That's exactly right. So that's a thing.
So remember that when you're making your logo, it's probably going to go on a black shirt.
Absolutely right. Kevin Weber is in at the $10 a month level. Fuck yeah. Thank you, Kevin. Very, very cool. Tim Gamble. Just listened to podcast episode number 490, and you mentioned planning for episode 500. It's been a while since you had a sloppy, erratic episode. Might be time to consider getting irresponsibly drunk. Podcast is getting a bit too organized and consistent. I'm no longer embarrassed to play it at work.
Drink to that. He's calling us out.
You're totally calling us out. I'll see your challenge and raise you a liquor. Appreciate the show. It's been a rough winter in the Angola area. When is it not a rough winter in the Angola area? No shit. Miles sent logos. Dude, you are Miles Gauthier. You are killing it on the logos. You are setting the fucking bar. Now, how about an update from our friend Tony Summerscales?
Yes, please.
Tony in the UK, TonyBloke88@gmail.com. He's graced us with another fucking tome, a paragraph. Good evening, Phil and crew. It's time for another monthly update from Johnny Mac's twin brother from another mother in the UK.
I love this fucking guy.
I love this guy. January's been a month of change in the Summerscales stable. You'll be glad to hear that the Sherco has moved on, which has significantly reduced the chances of personal injury by 100%.
Nice.
3 people in this room have seen my dick. Only one of them has had its skin on them. So, for real. All right. Unfortunately, my old joints have had enough of being battered at the weekend, so I've hung up the trials boots for now. I feel you, man. Yeah. In its place, in a kind of a out of the frying pan into the fire way, comes a KTM Duke 125. This is young Harry's first project bike, which we picked up as a non-runner through Facebook Marketplace, and he plans to sell it in the spring once we've sorted it out. Good fucking cool. Good deal, man. KTM Duke 125. He fixed the non-running issue pretty quickly, but we have since found that the head gasket is crapped out, as they will do. So now we have to drop the engine out and fix that. Thankfully, head gaskets are plentiful on eBay, and it's a relatively simple job for any young lad in his second year studying motor vehicle maintenance at college. In other news, Norton, remember Norton?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Which version?
Featherbed.
Norton 17.7, I guess.
Yes.
Norton
Emperor?
Norton have been trying to stimulate the big bike market over here by literally giving them away in January.
Oh, God.
And I'm gutted that I found out about it just a bit too late. Oh. No, I think you're fine. I think it's nice to go to a Norton, take a picture, maybe even sit on it for a moment and take a picture, and then run away and make sure your wallet's still in your pocket. Norton. I agree. I don't care how cheaply they're giving it away. You probably dodged a bullet there, because the Norton's not going to be a bike that's going to be cheap to maintain 3 or 4 years from now when you can't get parts. Okay. In short, they have been offering. Now, you guys, I know, Sleepy, you're not good at the math thing. You don't like the math. You don't like the numbers coming at you fast and furious. I'm going to slow down. In short, Norton has been offering new bikes for an $86 deposit and $86 per month for 24 months. I know it doesn't math. Yeah. Admittedly, there is a huge balloon payment at the end.
Okay. Yeah. Pay me now or pay me later.
Yeah, all right. So you're not payment. That's not a payment. That's just like a mark. Like a marker for each month. You're not even touching it.
You're not even renting it.
No, the customer is the mark here, I believe.
I think they are. Yeah, exactly. But you have the option to hand it back.
Yeah, good.
Which is what most people are going to do. And therein lies the problem. Okay, guys.
Or who?
Okay. I'm going to tell you a little something. If I had a company and I knew I wasn't going to be in business in 24 months... right? If I knew I was only going to be in business for maximum 12, 14, 16, 18 more months, I would offer you this deal of $86 down and $86 a month for 24 months, knowing that there is no way in God's green earth that you're going to be able to turn the bike back into me, because my company is going to be rocking horse farts. Okay?
Oh, so people just, yeah.
So there's going to be all this hot debt out there.
You're going to have to pay a white box.
Oof. Oh, yeah.
Somebody's going to buy that debt. Somebody's going to purchase that debt. The bill collectors will come calling. But what you won't be able to do is turn that bike back in at 24 months when the place you're supposed to turn it into ain't there no more.
Oh, they got fucked.
I have I have a sneaking suspicion their name is going to be on your title.
So they're self-financing. Okay.
I guess they are. And I have a
Because
sneaking.
if there was a finance company,
Then the finance company's on the hook.
Oh, yeah.
But I have a sneaking suspicion that their name is going to be lien holder on your title, which means at the end of it all, you may be forced to. In this country, a lot of people had to give back some very early electric cars against their will. They didn't want to give back those electric cars, but they were forced by General Motors to give those electric cars back.
I remember that.
And they didn't want to.
There are certainly people that didn't, that let them.
There are one or two of them that went to court and got their asses handed to them, because going to court against GM is probably not a great idea. And they got to keep the cars for a little while longer, but eventually, like, there's one guy that managed to somehow trick him into keeping it. Anyway, back to the letter. It might shift some bikes right now, but in 2 years' time, there will be a lot of secondhand bikes hitting the market that owe Norton a lot more than they are worth. That's best case scenario. And for anyone who bought one in December, the arse has just dropped out of the secondhand value, and I can't imagine there are any happy customers anymore. And this is something that our Triumph friends have been talking about with the Speed 400 and the Scrambler 400. The bikes are so cheap that when they hit the secondary market and traditional depreciation sets in, it's going to kill trying to sell a new one when there's a whole bunch of 1-year-old used ones out there for $2,500.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And the people at Triumph are very much concerned about that.
Somebody saying, Ed, was this your idea? God damn it.
Come on, man.
Clean out your desk.
Short term, long term. All right. So Tony makes an absolute excellent point. And talking of unhappy customers, I heard you discussing the Harley Livewire a couple of weeks back and how Harley Davidson only seems to have sold a small handful of them. Well, at least one of them is over here in the UK. And I read a post on a local motorcycle Facebook group recently asking for advice from the owner. His local Harley-Davidson dealership was one of the very many that has recently closed. And now he doesn't have a dealership within battery range of his bike anymore to get it serviced. Yeah. Oops. So there's that.
Do you have Harbor Freight over there? Because they have these little generators you can stick on the back of it.
And to be fair, 99% of the responses involved setting fire to it in a field, which really didn't help his cause.
Johnny got it.
This is an issue that's only going to get worse for electric bikes as dealerships close. You're absolutely right. And the independent shops are not going to touch it with a shitty stick. So I think I'll stick to burning dinosaurs for now. It was excellent. That's an excellent point. He says, well, it's 5:30 a.m. on a Friday morning, and it's time to think about breakfast and starting work. As always, thanks for keeping my company when I can't sleep, and ride fast and take chances, Tony.
Yes.
Cheers.
Yes.
Dude, Ghost Rider material, right?
Yep.
Okay, Tony writes a damn fine letter. Wesley, $10 a month.
Yes, very
Wesley Witt joined us
Right
at
on,
$10 a month. Wesley, cheers to you,
Cheers,
sir.
Wesley.
Absolutely, my friend. Very cool. Could not make this happen without you guys.
My new best friend.
These guys, I'm telling you, our Patreons are coming through. We got Giles Hunton. Giles Hunton came through at the $5 level. Does that get punchlines?
Okay,
No.
there,
No.
Giles.
Okay.
$10 level or above.
$10 level above gets the
So all he
punchlines.
gets to hear
All
is,
right. Fair. He's just nothing but static on the end of the thing. Super cool.
You rock, Giles.
I love that shit. And of course, Leroy Ginny says, "Hi Phil, I noticed Cleveland Motorcycle Podcast on Apple Podcasts. I've got some ideas on how we could increase the quality of the podcast. Would you be open to quickly swapping ideas?" Leroy, go fuck your hat. I get 200 of these emails a week. Yes, podcasts exist. Podcasts have been around for a while. You assholes, quit trying to send all of us that do the podcasts ways that we can make our podcast better. And offering us your server, by the way, at Pristine Podcasts. Oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
I couldn't find you anywhere. I searched the internet for Pristine Podcasts. No.
I get it. Naked dancing girls behind me would be perfect.
What good would it do to put this piece of shit on something like Pristine Podcast?
Pristine fucking Podcast. Seriously, that is false advertising at the highest goddamn order.
It's not a piece
It is
of
it.
shit.
That is it.
You do
Anyway,
very
That's
good.
not a Jake sleeping.
I'm just beefing about the fucking 500 emails I get a week telling us about how we can monetize our podcast better and promote our podcast better and do all these things better for our podcast.
Hey, do you like shaved balls?
Right, exactly. I will wave one unshaved scrotum at you.
I kind of do. There's nothing like a finely shorn scrotum.
On a summer morning.
Brought to you by Manscaped.
A crisp fall morning.
On a crisp fall morning. Anyway, that's just, I thought that'd be fun if we threw that out there. Okay.
Wait, we haven't sold our VPN yet.
Right. Ooh. Next item. That VPN slowed me down something fierce in Las Vegas. I'm like, how come the internet not working?
I do remember you shaking your fist.
I'm yelling and I'm shaking my fist at the sky because my internet wouldn't work in Vegas. Because Vegas is just nasty Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Wi-Fi in Vegas it's seen some shit. And like you don't
$50
want to
Patreons get to see the finely shorn scrotum.
Dude, you do not want to touch the Wi-Fi in Vegas. It's
Dirty.
sticky.
It's got STIs.
It's very sticky. And I turned on my NordVPN and my entire system just stopped working. My NordVPN was like, there's nothing safe here.
Yeah.
Every little bit was being polished.
Like, literally, Nord's like, I can't work with this. This is a scam. This is literally, you're on a fake internet. Like the internet you're on is a scam. It's Vegas, man.
What is this?
What is this? So interestingly, did you guys know? Okay, let's play a game. What is the smallest Aprilia motorcycle that I can go to the dealership and purchase today? Here in America, that's fine. Don't get exotic.
Racing only or no?
No, fucking dude.
Motorcycle or
No, I mean like, can it be racing only?
It can have the words Aprilia on the side of it.
Okay. So probably what is it, a 50cc?
SR50?
Yeah.
Not in this country.
Oh, we don't sell an SR50
125
anymore?
then, the racing.
Not in this country.
RS.
Really?
So then
I've
you're
seen. Maybe, probably a gray market.
we talked about this earlier. 450.
I'm talking about go to your local Aprilia dealer tomorrow.
Where the fuck is that?
Well, they got the
State 8.
State 8. They got the 437 they just came out with. The baby.
Close. 457.
Okay, 50.
You're right. You're absolutely right. It's 457.
Yeah.
So go ahead and throw it up.
Yeah.
The Aprilia RS 457,
Yep.
made in Baramati, Maharashtra.
Yeah. That's about right.
So this is a Piaggio factory that makes Piaggio three-wheelers and Piaggio little service trucks and all kinds of
So
stuff.
that's in Italy.
Yes. Maharashtra, Italy.
Keep going.
Further east.
Eastern Italy.
They have really good curry in Maharashtra, India, or Italy.
Right. So these are the bikes now. This is Aprilia's least expensive and smallest motorcycle that they sell. And they do, Sleepy's going to be very happy to find out, they do a 2.0 version of this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So they do this. This is an Indian-built 457 liquid-cooled Dohawk engine, right? And curiously, I've learned about this thing called an A2, and an A2 regulation is not just for England. England A2 means that the bike has 42 horsepower or less. So the bike cannot exceed 42 horsepower. And they build a whole class of people because this means if you're 19 years old, that this is your stepping stone bike. So up until your 19th birthday, you're only allowed to ride 125s. But then upon your 19th birthday, you are now eligible. You've had your license for 2 years, you're eligible to move up to a bike that is up to 42 horsepower or 35 kilowatt in, science units.
Right.
Okay. So this is the bike, and this is their machine that they sell, and they sell it in both the sporty version, the RS, and they sell it in the Tuono. Mm-hmm. And this is for people that are looking at those KTM RC 90s and Ninja 400s and all that kind of stuff. And the Yamaha R3 is a good example of this bike. And all these bikes, so they can be sold in various different markets, are generally kind of restricted to 42 horsepower. They're all kind of playing the same game with the same rules. It is a very interesting bike, and it's interesting in so much that this is the very first time that Aprilia has used Indian manufacturing.
What's the engine layout on that again?
It's a parallel twin.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a parallel twin. So it's a parallel twin bike. And what is interesting about it is that the Tuono version is the naked. It has kind of, its headlights do turn with the handlebars. So it is a street fighter-y thing. And what I think is fun about this is $65.99. So this is $6,600. buys you a 42 horsepower sport bike with a name on the side that isn't CF Moto.
Right.
Right. The spec, the stuff that's on it is, we've learned now that if you're shopping from China, you can get Brembo, you can get Bosch, you can get Bendix, because those people all manufacture in China, right? India, though, is a little more challenging. So India, you're not going to necessarily find the Bosches, the Brembos. You're going to be shopping from a different catalog a little bit. And so there are some down market things on this, but hey, fuck it, dude. If you're looking for an Aprilia and you want a name that's not Chinese on the side of your motorcycle, and you're looking for the very attractive price point of $6,600, there it is. And it's, again, this bike, we don't know how many of them are in hands of the consumers yet. We don't know.
I've seen quite a few on Marketplace, like different, like they're doing the fake, I'm not a dealer, but they're a dealer.
They're clearly a dealer.
And they're down to I've seen them for $5,800.
Whoa, that is a significant discount.
And you can see the crate in the background.
Right.
But I don't know if you looked up close and things, but the forks look very like my TNT 135 look better.
I'm going to tell you right now, I've seen some stuff from China that is better than India.
Yeah.
How much were those Marini 6.5?
We're going to get to that. That's for another podcast. I don't want to hit people too hard. But what I will promise you this, and I will promise you this, if you were an Aprilia dealer, Chris,
Yes.
and your Aprilia district manager said, Chris, last year your Aprilia dealership sold 36 bikes. And Chris, even though our company's not necessarily doing so well, I need you to sell 46 bikes this year. And you're going to go, why? Why you want to hurt me so bad? Because you did great last year, Chris, and we think you can do better. And I'd really rather not pay you that bonus money.
Oh.
So I'm going to set the number a little spicy for you. Now,
Yeah, did I see some?
I thought I might have seen smoke.
Yeah,
I think
me
I'm
too.
sleeping.
Oh, okay. All right. I saw smoke and I was very concerned about all the plugs that are over here. I'm surrounded by lithium batteries. So if you're a dealer now and you say, God damn it, Phil, I got to take 46 bikes. Yes, Chris, you have to take 46 bikes. Well, it turns out Chris is going to take 40 of these. Because every other Aprilia costs at least twice as much money.
Yeah.
And so at $6,500, this Aprilia is going to be half the price of any other Aprilia that you're going to take from that company. So leading into, now I did not know about this, that you're seeing these bikes being pawned off as being pre-owned.
No, they're it seems like it's brand new, uncrating. Come get them, that kind of.
But they're violating the MAP policy. So the MAP policy of the dealership, the MAP policy of Aprilia says this is a brand new bike. It's a 2025. You're supposed to sell the cocksucker at $65.99. So the dealer goes, no, this is a special demo unit. We put 1 mile, whatever.
Yeah.
So there's some excuse why we're selling it as pre-owned and we're listing it with pre-owned bikes on Cycle Trader or whatever.
Right.
So he buys the bike because he needs to get his number up to 46. So I've talked to some dealers who are like, this is the greatest thing ever because I can buy 46 of these because our expensive bikes aren't selling so much. Americans aren't buying the $24,000, $25,000 bikes right now. But if I buy 24 of these, well, even if I have to liquidate them at a blowout deal, so what?
And I mean, it's still an Aprilia. They're putting their name behind it.
Exactly.
So you're getting a brand new bike for what, $6,000?
$65.99.
Yeah.
Or buy it your way.
Yeah.
Now I will warn you guys. I will warn you guys. Be careful.
Yeah.
Because F&I exists. And the thing I've tried to buy a lot of motorcycles that were listed at a dealership. That DR650 I went to buy because they had it listed at $38.99. And I called the guy on the phone. I was like, if you'll take $38.99 for a brand new DR650, I'm already on my way there with $3,900 plus tax. But you have to be willing to sell me the bike for $38.99 plus tax. And they said, well, we can't do that. And I said,
what's the excuse?
Heavens no, why not? And they said, because we have corporation to satisfy, right? And yeah, by the time my $48.99 or $38.99 steeply discounted DR650 would have been out the door, it would have been $7,000. So the bait and switch is strong with some of these dealers. So just make sure when you're talking to a dealer or about going and pursuing one of those bikes that's priced below manufacturer's retail pricing, that they aren't waiting for you with the, the bigger the smile, the sharper the knife situation. Because we've all known, I mean, I have invoices at my shop for people that bought Ruckuses that spent over $5,000 on a fucking $28.99 Ruckus. Fuck us all, man. So, but anyway, yeah, cool bike. And I didn't know it existed for a 457 Tuono. I just thought that was fun. I thought it was cool. That's about what I got. Next week on the podcast, we're going to be talking about the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride.
Oh, cool.
Because that's a thing. And we got a lot of work to do on that.
Did you buy that $900 Distinguished Gentleman's padded road vest or jacket that you were eyeballing there?
Tell the people about that jacket.
He looked fucking sharp.
He did look sharp.
Very, very thirsty for that
James
jacket.
Bond needed CE30 padding in his shoulders, arms, back, pelvis with a zip up that goes between your blazer front and keeps everything nice and tight, he would go to that place.
I won't tell you when I've won the lottery, but there will be signs.
At a price you couldn't refuse.
They were beautiful, no kidding. Like if you wanted to wear a sport coat while riding your motorcycle,
That jacket felt so good.
Yeah.
Like I put it over a long sleeve shirt. Like I wasn't exactly like ready to put on a fitted jacket.
Right.
But the first one I tried on was the size I thought I was.
Well, the owners were from Europe.
They were. Yeah, the owners were
That
from
was
Europe.
like your mom. I'm like, that'll fit you. You're fine with that. That's good. You can wear that. No.
And then I put on the 46 long. And when I put on the 46 long, that thing fit like a glove. It was so happy. It made me happy wearing it. And again, you couldn't see the armor.
Maybe one more size up.
Really? Oof. Whoa.
I say if you want to go slim, go slim.
Oh, man.
Well, you want a little breathing room, growing room. You know
That's
what I
fair.
mean?
It was such a nice jacket, and it was one of those things I saw there. And that guy has been a sponsor of the Los Angeles DGR for years and years and years. And so he and I we traded phone numbers. We've been schmoozing each other a little bit, but I love that jacket, dude. That was fucking.
But
gorgeous.
it was not cheap, right?
I wish I could say the same for
it wasn't cheap.
for the co-owner of that company.
One of the last things I kind of thought of, because I was looking at some of the footage I shot.
Yeah.
And you go down that one aisle, the Pakistani aisle, right?
Yeah.
It was Pakistani Village.
It was the Pakistani
Village.
Chamber of
Yeah,
Commerce.
because they had the Italian one, whatever. But so the Pakistani one, you had on one side, you had people that were making what I would consider like the Wilson's motorcycle jackets, kind of thing.
Oh, they were throwback to 1988.
But then the other side was literally like everything that people are selling for $4 on Marketplace because they're 27-year-old leathers.
Yep.
They haven't changed them at all. There's still like a white glove with a red zigzag on it. And they're trying it was crazy.
They had these ancient leather styles, these ancient molds, these ancient patterns, and they were building brand new leathers out of it.
Yeah.
And they were not looking for you. They were not looking for you. What they were looking for was a US distributor. They don't want to sell one of these. They want to sell 5,000 of these. Their job is not to find, we're going to put 10 of these in your store.
We're going to send you bales of these.
But
That's exactly
every
right.
time you go to like one of these like biker week things or something, right? And you see these leather shops, you're like, oh my God, this is where they get all that shit. Like that stuff that like, you're like, okay, they're selling for $100. So they got it for, $7, or whatever.
Tom, would you like to tell the people about our experiences with Packy Leathers?
So back in the day when we had Mass and Ezra racing scooters, the cheapest leathers you could buy, we would call Packy. We literally called them Packy Leathers. And this is what it is. You go to an eBay website or eBay site sale, give them your numbers. They would sell you this Pakistani. Mine was black and gray. I know Stafford had blue and white.
We went to it. There was a company there's a company that still exists now called newenuff.com.
Yeah.
And then newenuff.com would sell you slightly used leathers and slightly used racing suits. But also over on this page, you were buying direct from the vendor in Pakistan.
Exactly.
And you could buy any color pattern that you wanted of Power Ranger circa 1985.
And it literally would have that zigzag pattern across the whole suit.
They were still there this year.
And
we found out one minor problem with them.
And so because of the dye that they used, every session you went out, anything you had under that suit,
or if you were naked,
became the color of the dye.
Somehow more vibrant than the suit itself.
In that
came out looking like Ziggy Stardust.
In that pattern across your body.
The one dude pulled his off and he looked like the Jolly Green Giant. Every part of him was green. His nipples were green. Everything was green. And then we discovered that the Pakistani leather company, whoever provided these leathers, was tanning in urine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Uric acid.
Yeah, uric acid.
Yeah.
Yum. Oh.
And so
Nobody would come near us. Our group had all brand new Paki leathers on.
Every single one of us.
We looked like a brand new box of Crayola crayons.
Yeah.
The colors were bright and vibrant and vivid. The brightest greens, the orangest oranges.
I think they were like $200. They were cheap.
They were super cheap.
Because I had no money, so I was just spending as little as possible, and I know it was about $200. Because by the time we were done, I had duct taped mine back together.
I had looked into our pits.
Failing.
One time, I'm at the directors meeting because I was the director for our group, and I'm like trying to justify to real people who race why they should let us on their track. It's not an easy argument.
No.
And they're like, I don't even know how. Like, we're supposed to tech these bikes. I'm like, you can't. I can. You can't. I will tech the bikes. You'll have to trust me. They're not going fast enough to hurt themselves.
Look, we're not a clown show. Okay, look, stop looking at the colors. We're not a clown show.
I looked into our pits, and our pits were the brightest, most effervescent colored thing, but at about 75 feet away, I smelled them.
Yeah.
And I thought there was an open pit toilet somewhere. I really did think that like we were near some wastewater treatment of some sort. And then I realized, no, that was just all of us.
Oh, I stuffed mine in a closet and left them alone for like 6 months. And I opened the closet after like 6 months, and it smelled like the cat had just gone.
Yeah, it smelled like cat piss everywhere. And when we were done racing at this one particular race at Gateway Speedway in St. Louis, big track, but no trees, no place to hide. And it was about 102 degrees. So when we were done, of course, we were done racing. We all want to go have pizza. And we all showed up at the same pizza joint, at this pizza bar. And nobody could be anywhere near our group. It was just
it was miserable.
Ghosting. And that smell gets in your skin and you can't get rid of it. It was an awful experience. And I already had racing leathers from, several different generations of racing. And I was like, what the fuck, man? And they're like, new enough. And I was like,
new enough.
You guys, dude, this is bad. This is very bad. And I started hooking people up. I'm like, okay, let me go to, Arma, let me go to Weira and tell you, everybody I know has 7 or 8 sets of leathers. Yeah. I've got a set of leathers right now. I just need somebody to be smaller than me by like 20 years and 30 pounds. And you can, pay me a small amount of money for a set of Techniques racing leathers that used to be $3,000. Racing leathers are not hard to come by. But if you're buying a set of leathers for $200 from Pakistan, and when we went into those booths, I smelled it. The second we got over there, I walked in amongst that leather gear, and I saw a guy putting on the gloves, and I'd be like, don't do it. Don't do it, buddy. Don't do it.
No.
Dude, on Marketplace right now, because I was looking for a specific thing used. Whatever. Anyways, I came across all this stuff, and it would be like, it'd be like Alpine Star, like one of the ones that are like $1,800 for the thing, but it'd be like $900, new, overstock, whatever. I'm like, So you go and look at it, and it would say like, not actual suit, can make leather just like that, whatever, 800. You're like, motherfucker, like, you're just squiggling people.
A lot of emails from those companies that are like, Bell Staff jackets.
Yeah.
$600 or whatever. And then you get the thing and you click on it. You look at it like, we will make you a Bell Staff jacket for $600. Send your, trace yourself and send your measurements in. Be careful of that stuff, guys. It is not the same. Just because something says fucking, climb on it does not mean it's really climb.
Right.
Just because it says Dina Star, something on it, it's not necessarily legit.
Right.
Careful. Be very careful.
It's no different than regular fashion counterfeiting.
Yeah, except for the fact that when you fall down on your fucking swap meet Louie, your internal organs don't fucking bleed out.
Yes.
Right. And if I come off my motorcycle at 70 miles an hour thinking I'm rocking some climb shit, and I'm not, I'm rocking a crime and not a climb. If I'm rocking a narrow stitch instead of an arrow stitch because I wanted to save $50, my internals might become my externals, and that's a bad day for everybody.
Yes.
Or after one session, you smell like a cat piss.
Or you smell strongly of cat piss. Yeah. Our second, third season out, there was a lot of duct tape out there. There was a shit ton of duct tape.
Mine lasted about a year and a half.
I think everybody's zippers broke like day 2.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Day 2 for sure. That was, oh, God. So, yeah, DGR's coming up. So,
Still have the jacket. I don't know where it is.
I'm sure we could find it by smell at this point. Yeah. Anybody else got anything else?
DGR question.
Yes, sir.
Is the route going to be adjusted from last year?
Yes, it is. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because last year,
just being a dick.
No, you're and rightfully so.
Yeah.
Last year we traveled directly into the maw of a marathon that they promised the marathon would be over by 1 p.m.
Right.
That's right.
And it was long way from finished.
Yeah.
Right.
There were some dudes out there going slower than I can. And they were going to keep those roads clear until the last fucking heavy Chevy waddled through there. They fucked it. They fucked us.
Well, there wasn't even that. They had people eating ice cream.
They were walking and eating sundaes.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
And I was like, that's just bullshit.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, all the roads were closed, and we had to pull some back alley Sally shit.
We had that the 1 year ago because I remember I was with somebody who
It's
was
been 3 years.
Well, the first
3 years that we dealt with
because I had
that.
the ascot and remember we went the wrong. We turned left and there was a cop and they're like, you can't go this way. And like, we're going this way, and we went that way, and then we did a wheelie and then we left.
Well, here's what I can tell you guys. I talked to everybody, and they won't change the day of the marathon.
Damn.
Bullshit.
So what we're going to do instead is we're getting medieval on their asses. So our DGR this year is going to go from Skidmark Garage. And I shouldn't tell you this because I'm not supposed to reveal the route, because I'm not going to reveal the route. I'm just going to tell you we're going to leave Skidmark Garage because it's the Skidmark Garage 10th anniversary. And Skidmark Garage is going to have a party that can't be beat on Saturday night. And on Sunday, guess what we're going to do? We're going to ride old motorcycles and dress up fancy. But we're going to the castle. We're going to storm the castle. We're going to go to Squire's Castle. Kilts are highly recommended on
What's
this one.
the date for that again?
The 18th of May.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it might snow.
No.
don't tempt fate.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, we are doing that. We're going to talk a little bit more as we get closer to the event, but go to gentleman'sride.com, gentleman'sride.com. The Cleveland Moto site is up. The Cleveland Ride site is up and ready to go. I worked on it last weekend, and we're getting our shit together. But this is why we're going east, my friend. We're not going west. We're going east. And then, do you remember last year when we finally got out to Speak of the Devil after 97 turns?
Yes.
And we finally got to Speak of the Devil. And then we said, okay, we're done at Speak of the Devil. Now it's a TT. Back to Porco.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say that I had 62 people say that is a dangerous and brilliant idea. Because then we don't have to organize the whole second half of the ride. Mm-hmm. It's choose your own adventure, go man, go. However, as Merritt was the operator of the get your token spot, she said people came in there through the lawn. And this is a public school. That guys were like, fuck it. Guys were going 148 miles an hour.
I think that was Ryan Foltz.
And he ended up on the sidewalk twice.
Oh, no.
Okay. So I think it was fun. I'm glad we did it because it was a major fuck you to the whole idea of like drive slow, everybody's being dapper and being careful. And, we wouldn't want to take any chances. But this is Cleveland. We do ride fast. We do take chances. It
sound like 480 at 2 a.m. on a Saturday.
It was awesome. Dude, it was pretty cool. And when the groups would leave, nobody left there like chill. Everyone left there like, fuck.
Yeah. Oh, I know 3 people who left there like chill.
Well, because we had to make sure the bar was closed.
Tidied up a bit.
We had to make sure that we cleaned up and we looked good and we were ready to go. And then we just very slowly farted our way down Lake Road because my clutch was already shot. So I didn't have a whole clutch left. I was running on like a third of a clutch. And we changed bikes.
I had very little ambition, too.
We stopped at my house.
Yeah,
and change bikes.
Sure.
Why not? Have a cocktail, smoke a cigarette. Everything that's happening at Porco is happening. We can't change any of it. So we're in no position to make any changes here. So this year we're going to leave Squire's Castle and we're going to have a bit of a scavenger hunt on the way back. Oh. So now it's not going to be for the fast people. Now it's going to be for the clever smart people. Oh. So we're going to have something for the clever smart people.
I'm already out.
Again, you don't have to win, John. You just have to show up.
We're hitting like the old days of Fantasy Coachworks rally alleys.
It is.
Like, remember that
Yeah,
shit?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. And I love it. I just think it's
too.
great.
It was fun.
Yeah, I think it's really great. I always enjoy the DGR. I have so much fun doing the DGR. Just the general concept of it is fun anyway. The fact that it's for a nice cause is totally secondary.
My favorite year was with me and Oscar, and we looped back to Porco about halfway through.
You're like,
there's another stop.
I don't think so. I think my favorite year was when we had one other stop left, and I just decided once we got to the County Line Pub, I was like, well, that's been quite a ride. So we were like, okay, let's go back to Porco. And we didn't even go to our third stop. And that was the year that we traveled a record speed down East 55th Street.
Oh, yeah.
We never stopped. And I don't think anyone's ever gone 93 miles an hour on East 55th Street before. But God damn it, we set some records that day. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
it was fun.
We're stretched out about 4 miles.
Yeah.
Well, the point is, once you've broken one law, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that point, they think you're a parade.
I waved. I smiled. That's all I did was I waved and smiled.
Look, if I've learned anything over the years of parades, carry a handful of Tootsie Rolls and just throw them at cars.
Throw them at people. Here, dude. Have a great day.
But think about how puzzling that must be for people to have this mob of people coming, and instead of like normal bikers where they're revving and snorting at people, everybody's just like, hey, hi.
And not for nothing, but I've been to other ones.
Yeah.
And Cleveland always dresses up.
Yeah, they do good.
So like if you take any member of the Cleveland DGR and you just stop that person individually, they are either participating in the event in an almost cosplay level or they're going to court. Because we have two people in our group. We have the people who are literally in some weird outfit like I am, Safari Bob or whatever. And then we also have people that do look just like, in fact, James just was wearing his court clothes. Like every time, right?
I didn't think of that.
Every time he goes DGR, the next thing somebody says when they see him is 3 to 5 good behavior.
Probation.
That's it. But it's fun, and I really do have a good time. And the people at Skidmark have done great by us.
But some of the guys in Cleveland, like those guys that play the Russian mobsters, like not only do they have the clothes, they full get into
that
character.
is a band, by the way, called Lords of the Highway.
Oh, that was them?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, but they're fucking. Isn't
that great?
They live the characters.
Oh, they do.
It's
they
amazing.
came out as the San Diego Weathermen.
Oh, you're right.
They've done that. They've owned it. Yeah, Ron Burgundy and his crew. Yeah. They love that opportunity to dress up. My goal is that we need to design a cocktail and a mocktail for our triumphant return to Porco after the event. So I want to have us ready with a pre-batched out, ready to rock and roll.
The broke spill.
Well, you did. I mean, that's it. I knew there was a reason that you were doing all that research in Vegas.
Yeah. Well, that was fucking research, Sleepy.
Well, yeah, that and he likes to drink.
Whoa. Goodness gracious. I got to say, the people at Stray Pirate, which is a dog-themed, pirate-themed tiki bar.
Fucking amazing.
Best concept ever.
Holy shit, was that place
They did
cool,
great.
man.
They really, very rarely will I have an experience at any bar where I just, from the second we walk in, I'm just like, oh my God, this place is rich. Like it was thick on the eyeballs. Everything everywhere was beautiful. It was cool. And I loved it. And we got taken care of. I mean, we got hospitality is the nicest way to put it. And if they ever show up in Cleveland, we owe them.
That bartender was awesome, man. He was the nicest dude ever, man.
We got such good service everywhere we went. And so that's that thing. That just always be cool, man. If you're cool, you walk in somewhere, just be cool. Let people know from the moment you get there, you're cool and you don't want to create a problem for them. You're just there to have a good time. And usually they'll make sure you have a good time.
Yeah.
We did have a great time. And that is super, super great. So we just got to get ready for DGR and make sure we give everyone else a good time.
Last comment on Vegas.
Please do, sir.
The best thing, I was just thinking if Smith was with us and would have been in the bunk bedroom.
Oh, the submarine?
The submarine. Like,
Oh my God.
Yeah, because it was airtight and full of semen.
Well, the funny part, the one person I thought was going to have a plane, and John was on top of me at one point, and I was like, dude, go back to sleep. What are you doing, man? No, but Smith,
describe the room to the people at home.
It was as big as the room minus all this square right here was the room.
Only one person at a time could walk around. The other people had to be lying in their bunks.
Yeah, and it was like the two beds were here, so you had a foot and a half, a foot and a half, a foot and a half, a foot and a half. The shitter was right there with not really a door, a slider. So There was many times when it was just naked men everywhere and farts and just terribleness, and it was horrible.
I think that was in your dreams.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Look, we said we don't kink shame.
Not for nothing, but I booked in a room for adults, me. And so I booked one room with 2 queen beds in it. And I was like, this will be fun to get a room with two big bunk beds in it. I thought that'd be just super cool.
Oh, the perfect amount of overflow for whoever shows up.
And anybody who shows up, we have extra beds.
Totally.
Right? So we're not going to do anything fancy, but you have extra beds. And it's the Oasis of the Cold Spike, and they have the Real World room from MTV and stuff, and they have a little Sugar Shack thing. It's like a tiny house outside. But those are like thousands of dollars a night. This place was priced competitively.
Yeah.
So I thought rather
Location
than
was
getting...
perfect.
The location was perfect.
Absolutely.
It could not have been better. However, when I walked into y'all's room and the door couldn't be open and walk at the same time, there was a very interesting order of operations that had to be done through. If you said, I would like to go to the bathroom, you're further ahead going to the bathroom by the pool than trying to go to the bathroom in their room if there are any other humans in the room.
Right.
Because then you need to negotiate who's going to go where onto what bed so that you can traverse the room to get... Why they put 2 goddamn giant bunk beds into the smallest room they have. Yeah. My room had room for shenanigans.
Yeah.
I had 2 queen beds and room to turn around a small car.
It was obviously the kids' room.
It was clearly the kids' room. So mommy and daddy could have room for making fun over there.
Yeah.
Right? Away from the kids.
But you know what? That top
fine.
bunk was comfortable as fuck, man. I fell asleep and slept like a champ.
I slept better in that room.
I did sleep pretty well in it too.
We had quite the crew. It was absolutely quite the crew. Robot came in and joined us on the second night because he was staying at the Sahara the first night. And so I told him, I was like, we have extra room, dude. You know, jump in the bunk room or whatever. Yeah. And I think Robot never even ducked his head into y'all's room.
Yeah.
Robot ducked his head into my room and said, nobody's in the entire extra queen bed?
Right.
I was like, no, I offered it to Sean.
I think me, John, and Sean could have slept in the queen bed and had more room.
Yeah, I did. I was just like, how much did I snore that Sean chose to go with you guys instead?
I wanted to have a little variance. I thought it would be fun to do the bunk room, and indeed, it did turn out to be a shit ton of fun.
Fucking great time.
It was cool.
It was a hoot.
It was fun. I just think they should go with a nautical theme.
Yeah.
And then just hang torpedo tubes on the wall and shit, and just really make you believe that
Store a bunch
you're...
of food cans canned goods under the bed.
Yes.
Just call it the hot rack. Yeah, that would be great. Well, that's cool. I don't have anything else. Folks, that's been a podcast.
Yeah.
I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, folks, remember to please ride fast and take chances. Play us out of here, Johnny.
Bum 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 bum.